Open your mind. The prophet of thought. The prophet of thought. You know. The prophet of thought. The prophet of thought. Open your mind. 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 Open your mind.
Peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought series right here on the old T.P.O.T. YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why you are here. Now, y'all know tonight, Wednesday night, is the old yeah, but we got a special hours of power tonight. Those of you who might have been tuning in last week, last Thursday, we were talking about Mama's Boys on DXL, and it spilled over a little bit, and we kind of drilled down on some things, but the brothers decided that we needed a part two. So of course I obliged. So I have the usual suspects coming on like I always do. Actually tonight, brother Taz is gonna be here again. My man, brother Art, of course, my brother BMT gonna be here as well, and my man Jay Shine will be in the house as well. So it's gonna be a good night tonight, man. We're gonna have a good mixture of characters in here tonight, and we're gonna do it the way that only T.P.O.T. Media does it. So we're gonna get it cracking. But first, before we get started, of course, I have to thank my contributors. I mean, that's standard at the top of the T.P.O.T. broadcast, because I did get a few donations last week. And it's crazy because, see, when y'all donate on Thursdays, see, I don't get to talk to y'all again until the following Wednesday. But y'all know who y'all are because, I always write you back, say thank you, talk shit to you, all that kind of stuff. So, I appreciate it. Like I always say, man, y'all support this channel because this isn't a huge channel. You know, the channel is small, but the people who follow me and support me and subscribe to me, they have very, very big minds, and I would assume very, very big hearts. So they're always donating to me. Even though I tell them, you know, it's not about your money. You know, I mean, your money, I'm not too concerned about your money. I mean, I consider you a supporter if you watch. Hey, what's good, brother Loadcast? Yo, Loadcast, man, you got to hit me up, man. I want to get you on the Hours of Power next week, man. You got to hit me up, brother. Um, yeah, I mean, it's not about your money. You know, like I said, this is a small channel. So, you know, the way y'all support this channel, man, is crazy. I mean, y'all write me emails, y'all do all kinds of stuff, man. Somebody wrote me, because they donated, and they wrote me a message, and they were like, they said, you know, X, I don't want you to think I'm cheap, so I'm sending you this money. And they sent a pretty substantial amount of money in the donation, and it is greatly appreciated. You know who you are, because they told me, they was like, oh, don't say my name. You know, I got a lot of people who say that, don't say my name, so I don't say anybody's name. Okay, but yeah, I mean, they sent me a pretty substantial donation, and I had to write them back. I hope they don't get mad, but I'm going to tell them about, you know, the email that I wrote back. I told them, I said, hey, look, I don't think you're cheap. You know, you don't have to send, you know, all this, you know, that amount of money, because they donated a pretty good amount of money. And I said, you know, I don't think you're cheap. I mean, if you watch this program, I mean, you hear every week, you subscribe to the channel, you watch the videos. I mean, I consider you a supporter. I mean, I do. I mean, all of you I consider my supporters, whether you donate to me or not. All right. I mean, you watching these videos is support. You writing in the comment section is support. You sharing the videos is support. So never think that it's all about your money. All right. Don't think that. As a matter of fact, what I think I'm going to do, and I told them this, I said, well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and refund half of this back to you. You know, I'll do that. So, I don't want y'all to think it's all about money here, because it's not a T.P.O.T, man. It's really not. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, your money is nice. I mean, what brother don't like to get money coming to him? You know, what brother does not like that? Anybody who says they don't like money, they tell them a goddamn lie, a black-faced lie at that. Of course, I like having money, you know, but it's not all about that, man. I want you to donate freely. I want you to donate if you feel like there's value in this platform. That's it. All right. That's it. All right. So it's not all about your money. That person who sent me that donation, you already know, you know, if you're watching, you know who I'm talking to. I think I'm going to go ahead and send half of that shit back to you. You know, I ain't sending it all back to your ass, but I'm going to send half of it back. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So just be looking out for that. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to do it while I'm on the air, and go ahead and, you know, get that out the way. And that'll be it. But once again, I thank y'all for y'all support, y'all subscription. I thank you for your coins and all that. Like I always say every night I come on here, man, I am appreciative. I'm humbled. I'm honored, and I'm grateful to you for that. And I mean it. I'm not just saying it to kiss y'all butts, because y'all know that's not what X does, but I mean what I say. I'm grateful to all of you for supporting this platform, and I ultimately supporting me. Um, okay, let's get it on. Before we get started, a few programming notes. Tomorrow, Dr. Umar Johnson will be live and direct. Yeah, right here on old T.P.O.T. I'm gonna have the phone lines open. You know, yeah, the doc decided to come on, because what people don't know about T.P.O.T and Dr. Umar, we actually have somewhat of a history. I mean, I met Dr. Umar, I believe, back in 2014. Uh, he invited us to come and tape. That was back when T.P.O.T was a big old crew, and it was like 8 of us. Yeah, the old T.P.O.T crew went, you know, and we taped one of his seminars in South Carolina. You know, he invited us down there. You know, we got in. We didn't have to pay nothing. I had my cameras all set up. If you look down through the archives of T.P.O.T, you'll find, you know, a little bit of a snippet of that night, because that night it was a couple hours he was there talking, but I was going to make something like that. I think it's like maybe 15-20 minutes. You'll see I was actually there, talked to him there, and we've kept in contact ever since then. I mean, me and Doc, we all right. I got the Doc's personal phone number, he has mine, so we talk quite often. And tomorrow he's going to be on. And as you all know, he just got the keys to FDMG, the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. And he's going to come here tomorrow and talk about it. So it's going to be on live call-in show. I'm going to have the phone lines hooked up. The last time he was here, the phone lines was fucking up. They wasn't working and all this kind of nonsense. So I fixed that. I updated the system. So it's all good. You'll be able to call in. Those of you who've been following me a while, I got the same call-in number I've always had. It's 712-770-4010. Access code 889212. I had it a long time, so I can remember all this crap. And yeah, you'll be able to call in. I'm probably going to have a few people on the panel to ask the Doc a few questions and things of that nature. So it's going to be all good. Tomorrow, I just want my moderators. I need y'all to be on your P's and Q's, because as y'all know, when I have somebody like Dr. Umar or Sister Ali also coming soon up on T.P.O.T, my good friend Sister Shahrazad Ali will be in the house, because y'all know her and I are friends as well, because T.P.O.T, we know the folks. She'll be here soon. So when I have people like that on the show, I need my moderators to step it up. I can't have people disrespecting the guests, saying crazy shit. I can't have that. So I need my moderators to be on their P's and Q's. One thing saying stupid shit to me, I don't care. But I'm not going to allow you to disrespect my guests. If you got something disrespectful to say in my chat room, I expect my moderators not to time you out. Just block your ass, because I don't even want you back no more. I don't even want you back no more. You can flag the channel. You can talk shit. You can make a video about me. I don't even care. But you're not going to come up in here and disrespect my guests. You're not going to do it. All right? All right. So, with that, yeah. Continuing from last week, yeah, we were talking about Mama's Boys, and we were talking about how the different mama boys are created. We were also trying to figure out if the whole mama's boy thing is subjective. What makes a mama boy? What classifies you as a mama's boy? And are all of us as Black men mama's boys at some point? But is it that many of us find our way out of it? Those of us who are more apt to be trying to cut our own way, think our own way, and do our own thing. Are we the ones who break away from the whole mama's boys stuff? Are the brothers who are not mama's boys, are they more of a man than the brothers who are still under mom's wing? And if you really want to get at it, under mom's apron. So what's the difference? Is it because make no mistake, and I say this all the time, everyone who follows, those of you who follow the Prophet of Thought series, you all know that I'm somewhat biased, okay? And I have no problem admitting it, that I'm somewhat biased against these old mamas. I think these mamas, especially when they're raising these boys by themselves, that many of them do a horrible job. Now I know, there's some mamas out there who did an awesome job raising their sons, but I mean, we have to be honest. There's a significant amount of women who raise these sons, raise these boys, and raise them into straight effeminate, emasculated mama's boys. They just do. Okay? These young men who have no male influence in their lives, these young men who have no father, no grandfather, no uncle, no anything. Okay? No coach, no karate instructor, no anyone. They don't even have brothers on the block to give them some male perspectives. So everything they've learned while they were growing up, everything they knew, every infinitesimal part of their life was taught to them by a female. And in many cases, multiple females, especially when they have sisters and aunts and grandma and all these kind of people. And there are no men around. Because y'all know the scene, a lot of these scenes, man, in Black America. It's not all over Black America, but a lot of these scenes in Black America are what? Okay? Because it's a bunch of kids running around. But often what we see is what? We see a bunch of women or a bunch of hoes running around with a bunch of kids, not a man in sight. So there's absolutely no male influence going into these young men. Everything they're learning from their old mama. And we know that that is a problem. Because let us be clear, males need men. Let me say that again. Males need men. Not just because a lot need men for the simple fact of they need someone to somewhat pattern themselves after. They need someone to give them a different perspective than the perspective they're getting from their old mama. And anybody who disputes that is just disingenuous and living in a fantasy. Now, I know a lot of people who, because we got this thing as Black folks that I always talk about where, our mom is the old supreme one. She is the almighty. She's the all-seeing. She's the all-knowing and deserves all the adoration, especially if she was all you had. And I understand that. But we have to be clear. Many of us had shitty moms. We did. Our moms were shitty. She got high. She dragged dudes in the house. She left your ass home by yourself. She barely fed you, barely clothed you, barely housed you, all while she continued to have another one of you in her gut every damn year. Because she wasn't fully thinking about you. She was thinking about herself, her own needs, her old pussy, whether or not she had a dick in the house, whether or not she could go out at night, whether or not she had wigs, dresses, shoes. That stuff was more important to her than you. And even with that, even if she did half-ass take care of you and bought your clothes and bought you a PlayStation and an Xbox and all this other kind of crap, your Black ass still can barely read. Why? Because she had all that shit in the house for you, but not one damn book, not one dictionary, not one encyclopedia. But with all of that stuff, you still thought mom was everything. Because, see, that's what was taught to you. You were indoctrinated with that. Even if your mom was totally horrible, she made sure you were a mama's boy. Because, see, I'm a true believer that only the mama's boys are not willing to call out mama's bull. Let me say that again. Only mama's boys are not willing to call out mama's bull, mama's BS. You don't want to call it out because you'll always love old mama. Yeah, you'll always love her. No matter how many times she broke a damn 2x4 across your head, even though you were only 8. No matter how many times she put cigarettes out on your arms. No matter how many times she let you be hungry. She let you starve. No matter how many times she sent y'all to bed without eating, and you sneak back in there and look, and you see her and her old jackass boyfriend in there eating the hot dogs and the the hot dogs and the freaking lunch meat she claimed to have bought for you and your brothers. Now, I know many of you like to say your mother did the best she could, and we talked about this last week. You like to say mama did the best she could. But see, that's just a cover because you know that's a lie. Many of our mamas did not do the best that they could, man. They just didn't. There's people out there right now. You had a shitty mom. She didn't do the best she could. She didn't give a shit about you. She did as little as she could. And the only reason she kept your black ass isn't because she really loved you. She kept you because she knew your ass was a check. Just like your brother was a check. And your sisters were a check. A lot of you had those mamas who, shit, she was barely bothered with you. Never sat down and helped you with your homework. Never asked you shit about school. And shit, before you started school, never taught you how to read, never taught you how to write, count, colors, how to tell time. None of that. She left all of that up to the school. She didn't have time to do that. She didn't have time to teach you. She didn't have time to instruct you. She didn't have time to be your mother. Yeah, she didn't have time. She was too busy with her own life, with her men, with her hanging out, with her drinking, her smoking, all of that. And usually your mother was frustrated, especially if you came from one of them old baby mamas, which a lot of us do come from them old baby mamas. Shit, she took out a lot of her frustrations she had with these men who left her ass. She took that frustration out on you. Always telling you how much you look like your daddy. You're black, just like your daddy. You act just like your daddy. You ain't gonna be shit, just like your daddy. That was that woman telling you that. Even though your daddy had never did anything to you. Many times, your daddy didn't even know you exist. Why? Because he got away from her black ass way before you were born. You love her so much because she was always telling you, I'm your mama. You were never to go against that, no matter what mom did. Even those nights you walked into a room and some dude had her feet pointing to the damn sky. Many a nights when you saw her pissy drunk and she couldn't even get up. Many a mornings when you woke up and there was no food in the house. Because see, she had took all the money and drunk it up, smoked it up, partied it up, cracked it up. Many of you had moms like that. But you talk about it though. Especially men, fucking mama's boys. If your pops, if your father had did all that shit, you would talk about that shit for the rest of your life. Shit, you'd write a book. There'd be a bunch of black authors just talking about how bad their fathers treated them, how he beat them, how he starved them, how he was drunk all the time, how he took the rent money and smoked crack, took the grocery money and went out with it. There'd be a whole freaking category of people on Facebook and else just talking about these awful fathers. But I venture to say many of us had mamas. Many of us had mamas who did shit like that. But just because you fell out a whole funky hole doesn't make her infallible. Doesn't make her beyond criticism. Doesn't make her not accountable. In fact, it should make her more accountable, especially if she was all you had. She should have been the best damn parent in the world. She should have understood that she was all you had. So why fuck up? Why be smoking crack and dragging Negroes in and out the house with another brother or sister for you in her gut every damn year? So many men walking in and out of the goddamn house. You didn't know if it was your home or goddamn if mom was having a cigar a cigar smoking room back in her room. So many men walking through the damn house. You calling men names that ain't even theirs. Because last week it was Richard. This week it's David. Next week it's Jamal. The following week it's Mark. You fuck around and call Mark Richard. Because they kind of looked alike to you, you know. You were just a kid. Shit. She catch you doing that, she'd beat your ass. She's mad at you because, see, you can't keep the name straight. You can't keep the name straight of the men she got marching in and out the house. And I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Whenever some shit like that happened, she blamed you. You're supposed to remember all these men's names who come up in here and come up in my room and don't come out till the next morning. You need to remember their names. Not, I need to curb my whoredom whilst in front of you. No. I don't need to curb my whoredom. You need to remember their names. But still, with all of that, if your ass ever get rich, if you fuck around and become a NBA player or an NFL player or a tech genius or a millionaire, the first thing your ass gonna do, mama's boy, is buy her black ass a house. You're gonna buy her a house. The person who treated you worse than anyone else. And you know why you're gonna buy her a house? Because you're a goddamn mama's boy. You're a mama's boy. You think mama first. You think mama before you think about your damn woman. You'll always love old mama. You know how that song go. I'll always love my old mama. She's my favorite girl. But why? Especially if she was a shitty mom. Why? For what? Because you fell out a whole funk box? That means she cannot be indicted? Does that mean she cannot be held accountable for any of the shit that she did to you? Is she the standard? Is that why we're so wrapped up in people criticizing women, saying things about women? Why? Because we think about our old mama? Is that why we always say those 3 words? Your mama black. So the hell what? The bottom of my shoes are black too. What the hell does that mean? We got this thing as black people that, just because someone is black, they are beyond scrutiny. Just because they're black, they shouldn't be talked about. The bullshit they do shouldn't be mentioned. And you know where many of us men get that from? Our old mama. Because see, while she was doing all the bullshit she was doing, while you were coming up as a kid, she made sure that she trained you to not think anything was wrong with it. Now, it was something wrong with it if someone else was doing it. It was definitely wrong if your father was doing it. But her, no. I'm mom. Whatever I do is okay. And that's what you better say. That's what you better think. That's what you better feel. Because, see, I'm your mama, boy. No matter how many men I drag in this house in front of you, no matter how many men molested your damn sister, and I still let him crash at the crib after being told about it. No, none of that matters because she's mama. And you're not a mama's boy because mama allowed all of that to happen. You're a mama's boy because, see, you agree. You agree with it. That's what makes you a mama's boy. Because don't get me wrong, and I've talked about this many times before. Those of you who follow the Proper Thought series, y'all already know what I'm going to say. When you are a kid, you have no control over how you live, how you eat, where you sleep, the clothing you wear. I mean, you just don't. You don't have any control over that. She does. She has control over it. Why you think it was so fucked up? She has control over it. So if you have a mother who got out there and did what she needed to do to take care of you and your brothers and sisters, commend her. Now, it was what she was supposed to do, but you can commend her because that's commendable. But if you had an old mama who didn't do shit, bitch never had a job, all she did was march men in and out the damn house, no type of damn discipline, no type of And that's why it's 8, 9 of y'all, and not one of you share a father. Irresponsible as hell. Damn lights off, water off, no food in the crib. She gone. Got you sitting in the dark while she off smoking crack, coming back with another one of y'all in her damn gut. If you had a mom like that, man, she shouldn't be commended. She shouldn't. Now, should she be condemned? No, not necessarily. But she shouldn't be commended. And she shouldn't get off the damn hook. Because, see, you would not let your father get off the hook for doing the same shit. You wouldn't. You wouldn't let your father get off the hook if he brought some chick in the house. You was living with your father and he brought some chick in the house and the chick was molesting you, raping you and shit. You wouldn't commend your father if he went out and smoked up all the rent money and y'all couldn't eat. Like I said, you'd be 35 years old still talking about it. But mom, no. Because, see, mom has buried all the bullshit she did. All the shit she did to you and your brothers and your sisters. How she had y'all living. The way she whooped your ass till you bled. She done buried all of that in her mind. And so have you. Especially if you're a mama's boy, you definitely buried it. You don't want to think about it. Because, see, mom did the best she could. Remember? Mom did the best that she could. To this day, you mama's boys don't have anything to say about old mom. Even though mom is on Facebook just like you, showing her ass just like the thoughts on Instagram. Only difference is now mom 50, mom's 55, got her ass out on Facebook. But to you, that's perfectly normal. You're not bothered by it at all. She's been doing this shit ever since you were a kid. You are indoctrinated into this. It doesn't bother you at all. Not one little iota does it bother you. To you, this shit's normal. That's what makes you a fucking mama's boy. Because you think all of the outrageous shit that your mama did to you back then was normal. So you ain't surprised that she's shaking her ass on Facebook at 50? Shit, she was shaking her ass when she was 30 in front of you. Parading men back and forth in front of you like it was nothing. She didn't even have enough respect for you to kind of keep that shit on the low. But for some reason, you give her the ultimate respect. No matter how bad she treated you, no matter how much she embarrassed you, no matter how much she beat your ass to blood over the littlest of things. But for some reason, in your mind, mom is infallible. That's what makes you a fucking mama's boy. Because, see, a lot of us came from mamas who wasn't shit. We know it. Just like kids today got mamas that ain't shit. And a lot of them, they're going to grow up to be mama's boys too. They're going to grow up to be mama's boys too. Because, see, they have been indoctrinated with all that bullshit That's very abnormal. But see, when you're a mama's boy, see, you've been groomed to think the abnormal is normal. So when you see the abnormal shit that your mama or somebody else's mama is doing, that shit don't bother you at all. Like I said last week, many of you, your mama can walk up with a crack pipe hanging out her mouth, dressed like a $20 hooker, smelling like somebody just dumped a bucket of semen all over her. And you look at it and think it's perfectly normal. Hey, that's mom. This is perfectly normal. And the reason why you think that, because you're a fuck mama's boy. My brother BMT done came up in the house. What's good, brother?
What's going on?
You muted. What's good, man?
I had to fix that. I had to fix that really quick. You know what I'm saying? There we go. So I think one of the biggest things that we do have going on is that being able for a lot of black men to cut the umbilical cord of foolishness from their mother. This has been going on for quite a while, some time now. From the time of watching this is predated back all the way back to since they got off the damn boat. You know what I'm saying? You know, daddy getting beat in the field and you in the house watching your mama, you know what I'm saying, kissing up on that white man. You're like, Mama, how you let that same man that beat daddy, you all kissing his ass and breastfeeding his baby and stuff, but daddy out there getting whipped on the tree right now. You know what I'm saying? Boy, hush him out. So for a while now, a lot of these mama boys throughout history, they never so much as to go against mama, because mama is God, mama is queen. You know, mama will take care of you. I mean, we've even heard it sometimes said that you owe me your life. I brought you into this world. I'll take you out. You know, so a lot of black young men never so much had the courage to really say, "Yo, mom, the shit you doing is fucked up." I mean, come on now, we got a lot of mama. I mean, honestly, we can call out a lot of mama songs in the day. Mama, all that good old black boy bands. Look at most of the black boy bands. Majority of those boys were single mothers out of single mother homes. But how often did they talk about daddy? How often did they ever sing about daddy? Most of it was Papa Was a Rolling Stone. That's the song that we all can, you know what I'm saying? There's a few females that sang about their daddy, you know what I'm saying? But really, majority of the songs was, you know, mama. And the thing about it was, if you look at most of these singers and people, you always wonder, like, dang, why are they so fucked up? You know what I'm saying? We can look at Bobby and them. Bobby Whitney's husband, and how they talked about their lifetime story, how their mothers didn't give a shit about them. But only until those boys started making money and started being seen by the world, the mamas wanted to step in. And that's when they gave a shit about the kids. So long as I can make a buck off of you, so long as I know that, hey, you know what, I still got that attention of that man because I have his seed. Sometimes it hurts to know that you're no more than a bargaining tool towards the means of your mother. I mean, honestly, I know some men are afraid to ask their mother, did you really want me at the time? Don't tell me no Jesus shit. Don't tell me no, well, you my blessing. No. Did you really want me at the time? Was I planned? Did you and daddy have a ring on? You know what I'm saying? I know me and you, and I told y'all before then, I chose women. When I was out there in the street, I was living hell. One woman got a backdoor abortion behind my back, but I wasn't out there because I wasn't slinging that dope. She didn't give a shit about that child. She didn't give a shit about my seed. So long as I was that nigga selling and slinging for her, that's all she cared about. So when they have a baby, their market value go down, but they still want to be out there and live that life. I mean, we can honestly look at it right now. I mean, a lot of men praise these women that do this self-destructive behavior, and they said, Well, what about the black men? Okay, I get you right there. You can say, what about that black man? But that still does not dissolve the fuckery that this woman is doing. That still does not dissolve that. You can say that, okay, so if that man is not there, that would mean that you would be more protective of that child. That would mean you would be more held accountable. So if I know the father's not there, I want to know where my child is at all times. I would want to put them around men who are doing what they need to do. But understand this, most of the time, these women, they know, like, listen, you know, KRS-One talked about love's gonna get you. You know, I can call out some songs about these brothers who are talking about, yo, you know, I remember back in the day, I had to sell my Sega Genesis games and, you know, use that dope money to put bills, pay for bills and shit. Mama knew what I was doing. She knew, hell up, I only make about $700. How the fuck did I get $400 more? Because that man didn't give me no $400. The WIC office ain't open. So you don't think, I mean, come on now, Prophet. You wouldn't question that your son, all of a sudden your son's walking around with fresh new gear, clothes. He's walking around with questionable people. That, as for you as a man, you would already repeat on game. Okay, something ain't right about that. Yeah, because women gossip. The streets will tell you everything. But they understand that, listen, so long as he's out there doing that shit, fuck it. I don't have his daddy, so I guess I'll get what I can out of him. I'm not as young as my daughter, but see, I understand that that man is a little bit more interested in my daughter than me. So I know that once I get old enough, this is why a lot of those women did not mind throwing their daughters under the table for R. Kelly. They knew where their daughters were at. They didn't try to stop it. Why? Because so long as their daughters were getting touched on and getting paid by R. Kelly, fuck them. We still eating good. We still getting paid. You know what I'm saying? As much time, it amazes me that you can call the police on that black man, but you can't call the police on that man that's fucking up your family. Why? Because that would mean you would have to call out your fuckery. You would have to be held accountable. And you see, a lot of these women don't want to be held accountable because that would mean they have to say, we fucked up. You didn't have to take the welfare check. You didn't have to take that check. You chose to take that check. When you got pregnant the first time, you know what? I fucked up. Yeah, I got pregnant. Cool. But did I need to get on birth control? Wait, I'm on kid number 3. I keep changing the same dude from the same area, from the same damn elk, from the same goddamn gang set. But I want everybody to look at me like as if I'm better. You can't judge me, son. Yeah, you saw that nigga walk out my room early this morning, but I ain't none of your goddamn business. So to a boy, he understands that shit. Women ain't shit. Because in my eye, mama ain't shit. So shit, all the rest of you women ain't shit. So any bitch that I see, I'm gonna fuck them up. See, y'all gotta understand. It's a like, that's why I talked about that critical mind state that when the mother does, it trickles on down to the children. Daughters understand that, well, mama, the only way how she gets that affinity of type of care or love and shit, she lays on her back at times, or she knows how to con or play men. She understands that, listen, I mean, I know some females that their mama told them, listen, go to the web, get a baby by that nigga, get a check. Now, listen, you don't have to know who the nigga is. You just got to make sure you get a nigga to pull his condom off. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. Go to the WIC office, go to the welfare office, start crying, tell them where you at. They tell them how to play the system. Why would you tell a 16-year-old girl how to play the system? What kind of mind state would you have to be in?
But are those the greatest mama's boys? Because you know it's different levels to shit, you know, with anything.
See, the thing about it is, the reason why are those the greatest mama boys? No, but they understand that. See, what that teaches that woman is, I need to get my boy to understand that the system is acceptable. It's okay for you to be indoctrinated into the system. It's okay for you to go get with a woman who's in the system. See, this is why you notice a lot of young boys, most of the time they gravitate to women who are on welfare or ratchet or crazy as fuck.
Just like the old mama.
You understand? It's a big web because they say, well, mama was on the system and that was cool. And I know that mama got food, a free house, and everything. So that's winning. So that's the type of woman I need. So long as I keep having babies in this goddamn system, I'm good. See, it hits at a genetic level after a while because at one point, you didn't want, see, at one time, women didn't want to use that. You remember that doggone those welfare money that they used to have? My grandma used to have that shit. So they used to hate having to pull that out. It's embarrassing. Nowadays, bitches be hollering, flashing welfare cards and shit, bragging off and shit, and their sons are like, damn, mama. Like, go give, I watch carrots full of goddamn snack packs, cakes, juices, crab. I said, what is anything in there worth a fuck to eat? Y'all got damn 2 packs of Huggies and shit, soda, Capri Suns, macaroni and cheese, ramen. You know what I'm saying? Nothing healthy.
I see that shit too when I go to the supermarket.
And you be like, ain't this a bitch?
Because a lot of these women, they're not really thinking about the nutritional health of the child in the first place. You know, they're just buying a bunch of shit, usually that they like, and shit that keeps the children satisfied.
Right.
But I mean, when you have a young boy and you know you're raising him up with no male influence, I mean, no father, no grandfather, he has no male cousins or nothing like that. I mean, he's kind of screwed because the only time he really has any male interaction is when he goes to school or when he's out, you know, playing or whatever the case may be. That's the only time he has any male interaction. So he's already starting at a disadvantage as it is. You know, it's him, his sisters, his old mama, his old ratchet aunties, and his grandmama. So he's already starting at a disadvantage right then and there, because the only time that he's really going to be acting like a male is when he goes to the bathroom and takes a piss. Okay. And they might even convince him to sit down and take that. I don't know. But he's screwed. The boy is screwed. The young man is screwed. And if he doesn't, well, 2 things. He can break out of that whole mama boy shit if he gets away from all of them, you know, mama, grandma, auntie, and everybody else. If he gets away from them, he can snap out of that female fog that he's been in for the past 18 years. But some brothers never break from it, okay? Because they leave from their mama, and a lot of these brothers go right ahead and find a woman who's just like mama. I know everybody here has heard a woman say that before. You've heard a woman say that their son wants a woman just like them. I know we've heard it. I know I heard women say it. Oh, he want a woman just like his mama. You know, mama, the baby mama, mama who has 7 baby daddies, mama who's never had a real job in her life, mama who used to smoke crack, mama who used to have all 8 of them living in a 1-bedroom apartment. That woman. You want a woman just like that, right? Mm-hmm. And the only women you hear say that shit is these old ran down fucking baby mamas. All right? That's that baby mama shit. Right. All right? Because my mama never said that. My mama never said, oh, you want a woman just like, hell no. Why the hell would you want a woman just like your black ass mama? Okay? A lot of these mamas, shit, if people had it to do it over again, they wouldn't even want her as a mama, let alone having a fucking woman that's just like her black ass. But we done been joined by Brother Taz from Taz Exclusive. What's good, Brother Taz?
What's going on, Taz?
What's good, Joe? What's up with it?
Same old shit, man. You know, part 2, the mama's boys. I know you got something to say.
Yeah, man. You know, kind of just where we left off the other day, man. Shit, I don't know if they can be identified anymore, man. Because it's like you almost like I think the other day we was talking about the thug element, but like I think it's so many different ways, like because I just think it's you know, we look at a lot of things like with the males and shit, and we'll say his dad wasn't there, but like when we see females do shit and the kind of like the fuckery that women do and shit, I don't think too many people quick to say the mom wasn't there. It's almost blamed on the individual as opposed to like when it's us it always go back to the dad.
Right.
Like when I just noticed, like, you know what I mean? Like I never hear nobody say, she's like that because her mom was XYZ. It would always, even with the daughters, I think it come back to the dad. You know what I'm saying? So I do agree with what you were saying about the moms and shit, saying sons want a woman just like them. It's like, nah, you really don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't. You know what I'm saying? Not like your mama, but I've heard that before.
Especially if your mom ain't shit. I mean, why would
Right.
you? Why would you want?
See, my mom was good peeps, man. But bruh, I'm talking about she ain't one that you can just deal with on that easy level, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, moms ain't going. You know what I mean? Like, she's established. Ain't nobody gonna be able to tell her shit. You're not coming into that situation running shit. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't want somebody like that. I want a woman that can still be molded and listen and whatnot. And that's what I was able to find. I wouldn't, a woman like my mom ain't going. She's not going to be receptive to me. She's already built her own empire now. You know what I mean? So she ain't necessarily going to be receptive to bringing nobody in or moving into nobody's shit. She hers. She going to do her. So, nah, you don't want nobody like that.
That's funny. I like how you said that, Taz, because I know a lot of men that every time they make a move in their own household, they can be moved out of their own home. They will check with their mama before making their own manly decisions. And I was like, bro, you got your own 2 kids and your own woman. Why is every time you and your woman get into an argument, you always calling your mama? You know what I'm saying? Bro, it ain't even that deep. I said, but it is. When you left out your house, you know what I'm saying? Why is it whenever you and your woman get in an argument, your mama is like your second wife or some shit? Mom would say your first wife. And I said, that's not culture. That's not key. That's not code. You know, because I'm seeing a lot of men, whenever it comes time to make a move, and sometimes, and here's the thing about it, I'm going to say this, certain brothers, they can find a woman who's possible, but when they do, they have to disattach themselves from that type of maternal type of thinking process. You know, you got to get away from listening. Huh? But see, that's the thing.
They can't.
It's an uphill battle for some guys. It's like for my cousin, like he is 125% bona fide mama's boy. To where as to like this motherfucker got to damn, he's not a thug, but he's soft as fuck. And no matter how, now this is a bad little fucker now. He's like one of those pretty boys who get into all kind of dumb shit. And when he has a fit, his mama condones the shit. And I'd be like, what make you so soft like a bitch? Well, he's like, well, shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what y'all say. Like, you know what I'm saying? My mama got my back. And I'm like, damn, bro. Like, sometimes you got a man to fuck up. But see, he got mad because a female rejected him. So he started to attack her. Guess who came to his rescue? A prophet? Goddamn mama. Mama came to the school, took him out of there. He crying and shit, acting like a bitch. The girl right there confused as fuck. Like, I ain't never seen a boy do this. But you see what I'm saying? His mama co-signed everything. And I was like, now he a grown man. He still does the same shit. No matter how much he fucks up, he keeps falling back on mama. So now he wants to start dating. He wants to be taken serious and all that shit. He can't stop sucking the tip. Just like you said, he can't. I wouldn't even know how to help him because every time I talk to him, his mama always comes back and corrects any type of masculine thing that we try to talk to him about.
If you're a grown man, okay, you're a grown man and you children and all this kind of stuff, and every damn move you make, you calling your mama. I mean, your grade AAA mama's boy, because by the time you done got yourself established with your wife and your family, you shouldn't have to call mom, okay, every time you want to make a move. You shouldn't be calling mom, asking her what area you live in. You shouldn't be calling mom when you get into an argument with your damn wife. You shouldn't be calling mom when it comes to disciplining your children. You shouldn't be calling freaking mom to ask her how to lead your family. If you're calling mom whenever these situations arise, you are a fucking mama's boy. And I know it's a lot of us out there who are like that. We call mama for everything, boy. Oh, we got to call our mama because mama knows best. Mama knows everything. Mama's the supreme one, the infallible one, the unaccountable one, the one who knows all, takes credit for everything, gets blamed for nothing. And if you have that mind state as a man, you, my friend, are fucking mama's boy. Because guess what? Many of us, I'm going to tell y'all a secret. And I'm a piggyback off of what I was talking about earlier. Because in all honesty, y'all, many of us are just products of our mama's whoredom. Y'all do realize that, right? That many of us are products of our mama's whoredom. She was just out there hoeing. Let some Negro nut up in her. And here we are. Yeah, here we are. You think that many of us who don't know who our fathers are, you think that that's just coincidence? That there's so many of us that have no idea who our old man is. We don't know who our old man is. You know why? Because she doesn't know. How the hell are you gonna know who your old man is if your black ass mama don't? Think about that. You don't know who your father is. You know why? Because mom don't know who your father is. How could she? The way she was slanging that old funk box around. Of course she doesn't know who your father is. She didn't care to know. She couldn't put any space between the dicks. She couldn't do it. But here you are anyway. So now she's guessing. She's hoping. She don't know who your daddy is. Now here you are, a grown man. You don't know who your daddy is. And on top of not knowing who your daddy is and him not being in your life, you was raised by her black ass. And it's even worse if you're still living in her damn basement and you're 35. It's even worse now, because now you have become mama boy ultra. Because not only do you not know who your daddy is, not only was you raised by your old black ass mama, your old ratchet aunts, and your old grandmama probably was ratchet too, your old ratchet sisters. Not only did all of that happen to you, guess what? You're still living there. Yeah, you're still living in mama's basement with your 35-year-old ass. Fucking around with women that are just like her. Chicks that got 3 and 4 kids and one on the way by your black ass. Whilst you live with mama. And mama thinks it's just fine. That's what sets the stage for you being a mama's boy. Because, see, she never taught you how to be a man. She didn't know how. She was glad you weren't taught to be a man. She was glad that she didn't know how. Because, see, that opened the door for you to be a mama's boy. To think she was the end all and be all of everything. No matter how bad she treated you. no matter the amount of bullshit she did in front of you and your brothers and sisters. So now your ass 35, living in her damn attic. You ain't got no damn job, no money, no car. But somehow you got 5 baby mamas by 5 hoes who just like her. And she ain't trying to kick you out. She don't want you to leave. She needs you there. She like having you there with your non-working ass. Because no matter what, as much shit as she talk to you, she knows, like I always say, you are the one swinging dick that she'll always be able to control. And in your mind, she's that one woman who'll always love you unconditionally. You groom her need, she grooms yours. That's why your black ass can't get out on your own. Because you're a mama's boy. That's why your black ass can't get out there and find a woman who's worth something. Because you think all women should be like mama's good for nothing ass. It has cornered you. It has shackled you. Especially if you're running around looking for women who just like your old mama. You fucked up. Because usually the men who run out looking for women just like they mama, shit, you done been brainwashed by your mama. She done trained your ass to think that she is the only type of women out there. Women like her are the only women out there that's worth anything, even though her black ass ain't worth shit. And it's not the fact that, like I said before, it's not the fact that that's the way it is. What makes you a mama boy is that you fucking believe it. Yeah, you fell for it. You bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. So what do you do now? You run out. You got 5 baby mamas. And all them hoes you got babies by, they just like your mama. I want you brothers who got 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 baby mamas. Take an inventory of all of those hoes. Who they remind you of. I bet you every single one of them hoes got little traits of your old mama. If you just stand back and look, every single one of them got those little traits that remind you of your old mama. Because, see, that's what you gravitate towards. I mean, after all, you're a mama's boy. Of course you gravitate to those type of women. And your old mama, she facilitates it, man. She facilitates it. Because however she treats your ass, that's the type of women you're going to gravitate to and let them treat you the same goddamn way. Because, see, you want a woman just like mama. So guess what? You get women who treat you the same way mama treats your ass. They treat you like you their damn son. You don't come in there and get accepted and courted. You come in there and you get adopted like one of the children. Because, see, they just like mama. Mama's boy. We done been joined by Supreme King Coon. What's up, Brother Supreme? I think Brother Taz is back too. Yep. What's good, Brother Supreme?
Man, what's going on, X?
Same old shit, man. You know, Mama's Boys Part 2. I know you want to chime in on it.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, I just follow like what you're saying. It creates a cycle of degeneracy. But some of the things I wanted to ask you and maybe the rest of the panel was, what are some of the long-term repercussions in the lives of those young men and their sons that you all have recognized?
What you mean, the mama's boys?
Yeah, so when those mama boys have sons and daughters, what kind of traits do you see that occur in their children?
Well, if they continue to be mama's boys after that and having, now make no mistake, I think many of us of black men are mama boys to a degree until we snap out of it, just like many of us are the so-called sympatron until we snap out of it. So the question is whether or not they snap out of it. Now, if they snap out of it and they go off and they get married and they find a woman who ain't like their old black ass mama, someone who actually has, ability, interest, desire, goals, dreams, that sort of thing, they'll probably be all right. But if you continue to be a mama's boy long until after you done met this woman, married this woman, had a few kids, I think it is a problem. Why? Because make no mistake, the brothers who are mama's boys after they become adults, usually what their mama has taught them is that they are somewhat insignificant. And I'll tell you what I mean. Usually, like we talked about last week, who's more likely to be a mama's boy? Somebody who's raised with their old mama and no male influence, nothing. Okay. So they're totally committed to good old dear old mom. Okay, mom knows best, right? So you have these boys who have been groomed by these women. They've had no male influence. So they haven't been built with manhood lumber, if you can understand what I'm saying. I mean, they haven't been built with manhood qualities, with masculine qualities. They haven't.
Yeah,
Okay?
Like
they haven't.
Like one of those things, one of those qualities that I have seen. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But one that I see a lot in a lot of the mama's boys, they confuse respect with fear. They push this whole thought of being this ultra macho as being like having other people try to fear them, and they believe that that's respect. And respect is not fear. You don't have to try to push your weight around to try to get people to respect you. That's not equal. And a lot of those individuals seem to believe that if they can try to intimidate people as though that gives them some type of respect. That's just one thing. Maybe I have it wrong.
Yeah,
What
you
do you
do.
all say?
You got it very wrong. That's called the American way. Your military does that. Corporate offices do that. The motherfucking manager at Wendy's do that. You know what I'm saying? That's the American way. That's not, I don't think that's limited to our people at all.
Yeah,
Okay, so what's the definition of respect?
I think
The textbook
go ahead.
definition.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brother Taz.
I could pull it up for you, but if I couldn't tell you the textbook definition. I don't know if, for me, I would say respect can't really be defined on paper, dog. I think it can only be shown.
Well, I mean, it's in the dictionary.
Yeah, no doubt. But I mean, okay, let's read it, because I don't think it's something that you can. I think respect is something that you can only show. I don't think you can see it just by reading the words. Okay, it says a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. And see, right there, I have a problem with that. A deep admiration? No.
Correct.
Because most boys have admiration.
No, there has to be no. For me, I don't have to admire you at all to respect you. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to have no admiration. I just respect you, period, or don't. You know what I'm saying? But admiration is probably not going to be involved.
No, because I cannot like you and still respect you, can I? I mean, If I admire you, that means I like you. I think you're the greatest. But there's people that I totally disagree with, but I still respect their intelligence. I still respect, their point of view, their ability to research, but I disagree, with them on the points. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't even have to freaking like you to respect you, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. But it's never about respect
that's what I
with
was
women
saying.
anyway.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's never about respect. I mean, with your mom, I mean, I don't know about everybody else, okay? All I know is my experience and experience that I saw coming up, okay, as a young kid. And out of all of the friends I had, I was one of two that actually had a father living in the house. So a lot of my other friends didn't have fathers living in the house. And I watched how their mothers dealt with them. And she didn't just want respect and love, man. She wanted to be worshiped, okay? Your mom has a tendency to teach you to worship her, okay? Not just respect and love her. You worship her because, see, I'm your mama. I can do no damn wrong. Your father does not expect that. Your father expects to be respected.
So,
okay?
so what I'm saying, X, is this. Even in that, do you believe that trait, that idea of wanting to be almost worshipped by other people, that gets passed on to mama boys?
I think that it teaches mama's boys that they are not as, like I said before, they're not as significant as a woman is. Because, see, they've been indoctrinated to think that, women are this, men are that. Okay, women good, men bad. So
Right.
if you've been taught that all your damn life, when you do happen to encounter a woman, especially if you're still under the umbrella of the whole mama's boy freaking train of thought, of course, when you meet women, you're gonna come at women in that way. You're gonna come at women the same way you come at your mama. You're gonna come at women with that worship. Okay, you're gonna come at them with women good, men bad. That's how you're gonna come at them.
But
Now,
see,
if they're go
I
ahead,
don't
go ahead.
know, X, man, because okay, so I see. I think sometimes we put a lot of emphasis on what the kind of the extra. Because see, what you're describing right now, I completely agree with. But I'm also seeing it outside of just us. I'm like something as simple as boys will be boys, or Bart Simpson and Lisa Simpson on the Simpsons. You know what I'm saying? You just got this mischievous ass badass boy and a scholastic girl. You know what I'm saying? Like I think society, the American society, pushes the mischievous boy and the scholastic girl. I think that's an American thing. I don't know if that's just a thing with us, but I think what you saying actually resonates because of the fact that most of these boys are being raised by a woman. So I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I do think that's an American thing, but it's permeating in our shit more because, like you said, you got to have a man around somewhere. There's got to be a man somewhere in the picture.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it would be hard for brothers to not, when they're dealing with women, right? And then they never had a man. And I'm not talking about the brothers who were raised by their mom, but they also had a grandfather, they had an older brother, they had a male cousin or uncle. That's different. You got some male influence. A little bit of male influence goes a long way. Okay. But a lot of these brothers have none. Okay. They have none. There's no grandfather. There is no older cousin, male cousin. There is no uncle. So all you got is grandma, mama, your sisters, and all that. So you have been trained to think that women are the best of everything, no matter how much they fuck up. All right. So when you get to the age where you're interested in women, when you're interested in women, I mean, you're coming at it from, because you can't help but to see yourself through a woman's eyes at this point, especially if you're a young guy. You're 17, 18, 19 years old. You got to kind of see yourself through women's eyes at this point, unless you done snapped out of the fog. Okay. But if you're in that fog, you're looking at yourself through women's eyes. So when you come up on women, right, you're going to come at them the same way you were taught, right? You were taught that women were taught, you were taught that women were a certain way, okay? And you were taught that by women, right? So when you approach these women, aren't you going to come at them, you know, in that kind of mind frame of what you learned from mama, grandma, your sisters and all that, which is probably the total opposite than what your old man would have sat down and told you about women and about approaching women and being with women and being a man and all that kind of stuff. Because the only extent, because I don't think women can make a man. I really don't. I don't think women can properly bring a man up. I know there's some women out there who've done a decent job, but I still think that the women who were by themselves and raised boys up and they became productive young men, I think a lot of those boys, the reason why that happened is because they had some type of male influence in their life. They had a coach, a karate teacher, an uncle, a grandfather, an older male cousin, somebody was in their lives. I don't think that woman totally did that alone. Don't send me no bullshit emails. That's just what I believe. Okay.
Yeah,
she didn't do it by herself.
I totally agree with you, X, because with the whole idea of coming under a female dominated home for a male, there's going to be an imbalance of how they view themselves, an imbalance of how they treat women. I think that's why you have a lot of them that tend to let women get away with a lot of nonsense and think that that's normal. And I also think that that's why you have a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them that go out into the world and they have to overly try to prove their manhood. And to me, they seem to be, they're the loudest ones that always say, you know, oh, I'm a man or I'm the man and all that type of stuff when it's not even necessary.
I can't disagree with you there, Brother Supreme. I mean, because one thing about us as men, those of us who are confident in our manhood, we're not constantly telling you how much of a man we are. We're just not. I mean, we don't have to. If someone's constantly telling you how much of a damn man they are, they're not just trying to convince us, man. They're trying to convince the goddamn selves.
I don't think I've ever had a day in my life. I don't think I've ever had a day in my life where I heard my dad or my grandfather say, I'm a man or I'm the man.
Yeah, this ain't the 70s, dog. You know what I mean? Like the hip hop culture is different. You know what I mean? Like niggas is competitive on the streets at all levels. Like whether it be a dice game or a basketball game at the park, or it's simply how much money you got in your pocket. So you know what I'm saying? This I'm the man mentality is more so a peer pressure thing than anything. Like once somebody else say I'm the man, somebody gonna want to knock them off. That's not really, again, to me, that's American society though, man. I just think we put a lot of shit on ourselves that's American. You know what I mean? That's the norm here in this country. Like when you compare yourself to somebody else, they tend to want to be better than you. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not willing to say I'm less of a man than anybody, but I can look at people and say, well, I wouldn't do that. That's not masculine. That's not manly. You know what I mean? So I don't think any man is going to put himself behind another man in comparison. And when you have men comparing themselves to you, it kind of forces you to say, what? Nigga, I'm the man. What you mean? You know what I'm saying? That's that hip hop culture though. I just don't think we living in that age you talking about anymore.
Well, brother, hold on a second, Brother Supreme. Let me ask you this, Brother Taz. You say that it's an American thing, okay? I can go along with that. So is this mama's boy shit? Is that an American thing? Is that something that just that permeates through this country for everyone? Or is it more prevalent with us?
I would say it's more prevalent with us. I definitely wouldn't say it's not, because when you see the white boys and they like I'll take Peyton Manning for example. You didn't see his mom, you saw Archie. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? You didn't see trying to think of another white motherfucker right quick. I just don't recall a lot of them trotting their moms out. It's usually the dad that's right there, you know, Bill Walton, Luke Walton, that type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Jordan had his daddy out there. Jordan, like
when it comes to like yeah, when it comes to that, I would definitely say it's more of us, no doubt.
I mean, can I say this? Like, for a lot of the ball players who did have their father, like Jordan's father was there. If you look at Serena and Venus's father, if they had a man there, like we can look at most of our athletes who had their father, Jordan, Venus and Serena, Tiger Woods. Let's look at those three, okay? Whenever Tiger was out there playing, and I got to watch him play, his dad was right there coaching him. After every hit, he would critique him. Don't care about what they're doing. Focus on the game. Serena and Venus, they were at the height of the game when their daddy was always out there until he got too sick. Same thing for Jordan. So when the father was dominantly out there on a mindful eye on fuck everything else, focus on what's the now. It was more so as the check and balance. Now, then you can always say you've seen other players who had their mama out there. You know what I'm saying? We know about the incident with LeBron and his mama, you know, fucking one of his teammates. That, for a lot of us men, that wasn't code. Like, mama, you shouldn't have been doing that.
That was a no-no.
That's a big no-no. You know what I'm saying? We all agreed on, like, mama, no. I don't give a shit how much money he got. Like, that's a no-no. Even for that brother, I'm pretty sure some of the players like, man, you can't be fucking homeboy's mama like that. Like, you can't be doing that.
Hey,
you know?
BMT.
What's up, brother?
Just to follow what you're saying, have you ever noticed that those players tend not to have a lot of internal drama with other players, especially on their team or so forth? Like, you take, for instance, like Jordan, people will say, yeah, he was competitive, but they wouldn't say he was a bad teammate.
Man, crazy as fuck, man. Jordan, whoa, wait a minute, man. Jordan to walk in practice and punch a motherfucker. Dog, what are you talking about? Like, he literally punched Steve Kerr in practice, dog. Jordan wasn't no fucking joke.
Yeah, they were saying that.
I never said
Jordan was off.
Like
Jordan was off his game when he was.
He wasn't like LeBron James causing drama and confusion, breaking up teams and junk like that.
Well, no, but he didn't play that. That's ownership, though, dog. I don't know if you can look at the Krause family as the same as fucking Dan Gilbert. You know what I'm saying? That's ownership, because when LeBron was in Miami, it wasn't all of that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to kind of look at that shit for what it is.
Right.
Man,
when LeBron was in Miami,
LeBron always wants to be the center of attention.
No. Okay.
I don't think
LeBron a mama's boy. It's LeBron.
I don't think LeBron has a choice, though.
That's a mama's boy.
What choice do we have, though, as far as the attention goes?
Yeah, he has a lot of influence on that.
I think one of the things about it, and I was trying to point out, was this: for a lot of the people, like we can use the Manning boys. Okay, let's use the Manning boys. The mother never really came to center stage. It was always the daddy that always came around out there in the field or anything like that. The fact about it was, for a lot of the players who did have their father, he would check them. Okay, we can look at, like, the latest one was Mayweather. Mayweather's father was his second in the corner. So when Mayweather was fighting Pacquiao, Mayweather's father was like, listen, boy, all that shit I done taught you and trained you up on, you need to step to him. Now, understand, Mayweather had to tell dad, I'm fighting in my fight. You know what I'm saying? Now, Mayweather had his father, you know what I'm saying, for the most part, before he was incarcerated. But also Mayweather understood that, listen, like, you know what, my dad, he's rough around the edges, but I need to listen to what the fuck he's saying. Sometimes, for some men, whenever we are in some type of a matriarchal household or some shit like that, we do try to look for a man who, like, you know, I'm not like my cousin. he was looking for guys out there in the street who were making moves and doing things and try to follow and try to recreate or mimic after their role. Because you can try to do after the mother role, you know what I'm saying? It goes only but so far. But I don't know that many women that are teaching their sons how to check themselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
they can't do that.
Well, I said, I'm just showing that when you ask the question, one of the main things that I can always tell somebody who was taught how to check their emotions when they get into a situation or something starts to escalate, like, you know, I can play this down, or just because they said something, I don't have to react, versus somebody who's like, I have to confrontate. Now, there are some players like we want to pull out on sports who you can never get a rise out of them. Like Shaq was raised by his stepfather, but his stepfather, you know what I'm saying? And Shaq was an asshole when he wanted to be one. I ain't gonna lie. I watched that motherfucker. But he always knew, like, yo, I need to chill out and be serious. Like, there was two different sides. You know what I'm saying? Versus Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley, like, I ain't no fucking role model. I'm just here.
But them niggas fought each other.
Oh yeah, shit. Yeah. Oh, we know Charles Barkley.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, a whole thug. Listen, they had to get Broccoli was a whole goddamn thug. Like, fuck.
See, but the whole thing is not saying that dudes that were raised by their fathers will never get in fights or never show any anger or anything. That's not the argument. The argument is that the individuals that are primarily coming from female-dominated homes, they often have emotional outbreaks that are plagued throughout their entire life. Like, they have issues with being able to control themselves emotionally in various situations.
Because a lot
they're known by that.
Because I believe a lot of them
as a narrative. My bad, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that a lot of them probably have, you know, they haven't. I mean, one thing about being a man, you know, if you consider yourself to be a man, you have a degree of, you know, emotional discipline. You know, if nothing else, you have some emotional discipline. So I think a lot of these young brothers, you know, they grew up around a bunch of women, man. I know they lack emotional discipline. They have to, because they've been around high energy emotions all their lives. So this is what they know. This is what they lived. So the only way to not be that way is to try not to be that way. You know, if that's your life. I mean, you kind of, as a child, you know, you live, you know, you're living the experience. You know what I'm saying? You're living what you're learning as a child. So if you're learning to be over emotional, if you're learning to have these crazy emotional reactions when they're not really called for, you know, which is subjective, I know, but for the most part, you know, if you're around a bunch of girls and then your mama, that's ratchet as hell. You know, if they kind of decent, it's different. But if they ratchet and they loud and belligerent, and all this kind of nonsense, and you're growing up in that, how can that not, you know, drip off onto you? How can it not? What's keeping it from doing it? Because there's no man there. If a man was there, he'd be keeping a lot of that shit from dripping over to you, because he'd be sitting you down saying, hey, look, boy, this is not how you react to things, you know, but you don't have that. So yeah.
That's a narrative though, but that's just not factual. I mean, if that were the case, why are all these boys derelict now? That women ain't always been single mothers. Even when these so-called men that people love to talk about, their grandfathers and their fathers, where them niggas at? What happened? What happened to the men that they raised that end up raising you? Because see, the thing is, I like to look at us now and deal with us in the now. I don't like to look back and blame my father or my grandfather for anything. Because like I say, my dad took me fishing, did all the masculine things with me that would lead to this quote unquote manhood we talking about. But I had a lust for the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just what it was. And so by the time my parents get divorced and my dad leave and shit, and my mom trying to hang, she couldn't do shit with me. You know what I mean? Like I was long gone. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I just think a lot of times the overgeneralization, we like the things where we would meet at as bros, the overgeneralization sometimes fuck that up.
Yeah,
My bad,
sometimes
Art.
things.
What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on with you, fam?
What's good, brother? Art in the house. What's good, my brother?
Yes, sir. I'm running errands and listening to you guys at the same time and finish work. But I want to add on is that most of the time things are a repeated cycle. Yeah, that's why we're living this experience as we speak. And most of the time when we get close to the solution, there's always something that's going to pull us back, whether it's distractions or even denial. So I think when it comes to these kind of things, we just got to master what manhood is, period. We got to master it. We can't just theorize it or anything like that. We got to make sure that we understand what it is and put it to work. Sometimes people try to get in this whole thing about, um, men don't feel and all that kind of stuff. Well, I was like, hey, man, to each his own. But yeah, expression is everything. And I think more likely when people say that, it's not really a around. That's why you hear that.
Hey, Art.
So,
Hey, Art. Could you repeat that? Because you went out for a second.
I was saying is that usually it's not a reflection of who you are as a person. It's a reflection of the people that you're around when it comes to the whole thing about men don't feel. Because if you're sitting there with a group of men saying, I feel hurt or I feel this, I feel lonely, you're putting the men in a bad position and you're trying to force them to nurture you. And you get a pushback on that, unless it's your dad or your uncles and all that kind of stuff. But if you said stuff like, I feel powerful, I feel like I can eat a horse, I feel like taking over the world, then I think you're justified on that whole feeling thing. But,
That's the
these are
problem, though, Art. I like that's the problem. It's too many niggas that feel they self. I know these niggas, but ain't nobody walking around with their head down. They the complete opposite. Everybody the king of the world, bro. That's why you can't accidentally bump into a nigga without saying, "Oh, my bad, I'm sorry, bro."
Oh, the ego thing, right?
But that's the problem, Taz, is that in many occasions, and anybody else on the panel, check me if you think that I'm wrong on this. The whole idea of everybody thinking that they're the man, and everybody being on edge and not to step on somebody's shoes or bump into them the wrong way, that could be overcompensating for a true feeling or masking a true feeling of inferiority.
Yeah.
For
Because
some people, yeah, but I was gonna say for some people, yeah, but I'm telling you, man, that shit is just that's the culture, dog. Like I just want you to understand that it's not that I'm inferior. It's that nigga, you just respect dog yourself, and if you're not willing.
You fading in and out, brother
I'm,
Taz.
I'm sorry, Taz. Repeat yourself because you kind of working.
Yeah, you fading in and out.
Well, let me see
y'all hear
how
me?
Taz fixes that. Okay, you're much better. You're much better.
Go ahead. Go. Y'all hear me?
Fading in and out. Fading in and out.
While Taz is getting that fixed, the main thing I want to say is when dealing with young people and certain individuals, what I see right now is a lot of young men or women, they easily they make little things out of nothing when they don't have to be. And that's why I always try to tell people, like, listen, sometimes you don't always have to give a reaction to everything. You get what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm not gonna say that's the culture because I see that across the board on a lot of things. But like whenever I go to the schools, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll hear one kid say, well, he said I'm poor. Okay. Well, I say, well, y'all both go to a low income school. So what does that mean? Well, he talking about my J's or stuff. I'm like, why do you care? Like, something about them feels like they have to prove, like, listen, like, you ain't gonna disrespect me. Now, the thing about it was, for me, like, I was always told my dad was like, I mean, I didn't always have my dad. My dad, like I said, he got incarcerated, you know what I'm saying, for every reason. So my mom had to check that by putting me right around a lot of football coaches and different other guys to try to even it out. Because when my dad was gone, when I would see other kids with their dad, that would upset me or make me want to fight in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like, yo, like, fuck these other niggas. Like, y'all niggas think y'all better than me or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But it was just the fact that I felt like there was a part of me that I missed out on. And I think that that can sometimes that can sometimes have a weight on a child where I didn't get the estrogen part of me. I got the estrogen and of the female part. Because there's two parts that get put into a child: the estrogen of the nurturing side, and then there's the masculine side. Like, a father doesn't really deal too much with his child until as the child starts getting older. And when a child falls down, what does the father say? Stop crying. Get up. Fix yourself up. Are you okay?
Yeah, you'll be all right.
You'll be all right. Because it shows you that is in that simplest lesson is, though you fell down, gain composure yourself. It's going to happen. You're going to fall. But
Hey,
sometimes
X.
when it happens to when a mother sees a child fall, what is naturally the instinct of a mother when a child falls?
Nurturing.
So
Hey,
because you've always been getting the nurturing, but never the masculine side of get up. So when that person hits a situation, sometimes, I'm not talking about blacks. I'm just saying, I'm looking at the psyche now. This, y'all know I do this. The natural side is, why am I feel like I'm not, whenever I see some things like I'm looking at like certain types of little beefs and things are going on in society nowadays. Most of these brothers and sisters, they literally can walk away and say, fuck it. You said I'm ugly. You say I'm broke or whatever. Fuck it, whatever. Keep it pushing. But something about them feels like, fuck that. I have to nurture that anger or that hate, and I gotta prove something to myself. Who gives a flying fuck how the outcome is? I'm gonna do what I feel I need to do. Versus the masculine side should have told your ass, okay, he said I'm an ugly motherfucker. Cool, whatever.
But yeah, 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 because the masculine side makes space for the healing. The masculine side says move out the way so this person can recover. The masculine side is not the healer, but at least be able to make the room for all that stuff to happen. Every now and then, I mean, over the years, when I had little boys come around and cry, I had to be like, you know, don't give your tears out for free. Let them earn them tears. As a man, women say they like to hear that, but I'm like, if
Let me push back. Let me push
Go
back
ahead.
when you're
Go
done.
ahead, brother Chaz.
Okay, so
I
let
gotta
me
finish
show
though.
you something right quick. So this is where a lot of the brothers get mad at me, because this is why I point the finger at them. Now, what you just said, Art, was profound. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Now, what you just said was profound, Art, except for my disagreement is we definitely can be the healers. Now, I can point to the specific problem with black women that we speak on as men, as single mothers. All that yelling, not under control when you're dealing with my motherfucking son shit. Nigga, I'm the one that step in and calm all that shit down. Hey, dog, chill your motherfucking ass out. Why the fuck you talking to my son like that? Calm your motherfucking ass down, man. Hey, dog, chill. If that's not healing, what is? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I get mad at the brothers, because they're not there to calm that situation down when that woman is going too far.
I can add to that. From where I see it. I mean, you probably see it as healing, but I see it more as regulating, because if you're dealing on the health side, the body heals itself, correct? but you have to make sure that you clear everything out for the process to work. So when you say, "Hey, shut up," or "Did you hear what your mom said?" and stuff like that, it's almost like you telling your body, "Didn't you say? Didn't you know not to eat all this stuff? You need to let your body heal." So mainly, you're making a command. You're taking charge of your post. So those are the kind of things that that we're supposed to do as men. If you probably see it as healing, then so be it. But
Well, I'm
the nurture.
talking about her though.
Right.
I wasn't talking about with my son. I'm
Uh
talking
huh.
about with her.
Right.
I'm talking about checking her when she started doing that overly emotional shit to my son.
Oh.
That
Yeah.
that when she's stepping out of pocket to where, hey dog, I'm supposed to be taking care of that. You don't know how to handle that. You're a
Okay.
little too wild about some shit that ain't that serious, dog.
Stay in her
I got
lane.
it. Just sit back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
No.
saying?
I
That's
got you.
that's what I'm talking about. Not interfering with him and her, but more so dealing with her, telling her when it's time, hey dog, you need to fall back. You're doing too much.
I got you. I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah. That right there. I mean, I get what Taz is saying. I'm laughing inside because I just had to do that with my wife and my daughter, and I had to like say, "Yo, Melissa, you're braiding her hair. Chill out. She's a kid." You know what I'm saying? And she was like, "Well, do you want to do her hair?" I said, "That's your job. You braid her hair. But understand, when you pull at her roots too hard, she's going to react." So then she eased up on pulling the roots. I get it. Whereas I get what you both of y'all saying y'all in the same lane where there's the regulation, but also you're doing the nurturing also of the situation for the overall thing. That's why I say the man is the overall head boss. The boss doesn't have to step in on the management because the management, he only steps in to say something where it seems too big or the management can't see the bigger picture. Your brothers get what I'm saying? And for a lot of young children, they don't get that type of mindset. That's why I said it takes longer for a male to mature, because for the male, his men's life maturity comes out of life experience. Y'all get what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, this is why a lot of older men say you'll understand as you get older, because then you have to go through it. I can tell you why I get up early in the morning and bust my ass, but until you actually go through this motherfucker and you say, that's what that old nigga meant. God damn it. Now it clicks in you all of a sudden. Until you actually are playing the parent or you're actually in that mentoring role, you're like, wow, so that's what he was talking about. But see, a lot of boys don't get that. They don't get that. This is why whenever I tell a woman, you can't make that boy into a man, because some things he has to trial by fire. Some things he has to get fucked up by life. So you trying to keep him out of that situation. A brother like Taz has to go through that. So when Taz like, mama, I'm already then past step A, B, C. Hell, I'm at motherfucking T. So you can't try to check me. I mean, one time my mom tried to hit me with a belt. I said, what are you doing? You ain't gonna talk back to me. I grabbed the belt and whipped it out of her hand. She's like, not in my house. I said, well, shit, I pay half the rent here. I paid $860. What do you mean? She was gassed. She was flabbergasted. She didn't know how to fucking pay to me, because she could no longer threaten me with a belt. That imagery was gone, because I get my ass kicked by that goddamn white man at Walmart almost from 9 to 5 for 4 days out of the week. So I'll be damned if I have somebody hitting me with a belt as if I'm a kid. Mind you, at the time, yeah.
So BMT, that's why I asked you at the beginning and to the panel, the difference between respect and fear. Your mother was ruling by fear. She really didn't have respect.
No, you, like I said, you had to worship her and worship her mind state, her ideology, her freaking pathologies of how she was raising you. And you also had to worship her pathology of women. Because, everybody who was raised by their mama, if you was a young man, your mama sat down.
I get what you're saying. Like, No, I get what you're saying, Prophet.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying is like that whole idea of those young men growing up, like what like BMT was saying, and trying to transfer that into other male relationships where I basically, if I can whoop you, then that means I have respect. And it's like, nah, just because you whoop somebody doesn't mean that they respect you.
Well, let me ask you this. We were talking about overcompensating.
And that's what I think that is.
Are those the biggest mama boys? Are those the guys who try to over extend, you know, their masculinity? Do they try to purposely project masculinity? Because I'm a true believer that masculinity doesn't have to be purposely projected. It's just something that you wear, you know, like your skin. That's what I believe. So
right.
If you have to put effort into showing your masculinity, are those the biggest mama's boys because they're overcompensating for the fact that they were raised kind of effeminate? You know, they did effeminate shit. They sat around and played with makeup and dolls and had tea parties with their sisters and shit. So now that they're grown, you know, they're trying to get away from that part of their past, their history. So are they overcompensating now for all the quote unquote sissy shit that went on in their lives when they were younger? Do you believe that they may be possibly overcompensating, you know, because they did the little tea parties and played with dolls and shit when they were with their sisters and shit,
Well,
you know?
I don't know if they
mom just to put bowls and shit in the air like they did.
you gonna have me cracking up like you gonna have me cracking up like a city and have me laughing, man.
You know, but are they overcompensating for that shit though? You know, the shit that, you know, happened back then. Now that they're 20 years old, you know, they want to kind of forget, you know, mom putting the barrettes in their hair like they did their sister, and, you know, fucking, you know, having the little tea parties and shit with their sister, maybe even had a dress on one time, you know.
But think about this, man.
Shit?
Think about this. I don't know if you guys watch a Urban X channel with what's the brother's name? Black Dot. He had a guy on there named I think he was he's a Cuban brother that's into Loke Me, but he was breaking down the whole Tupac dude. Character or archetype, and he was talking about the whole, you know, wearing the bandana and the scarf and doing all the whole, you know, middle fingers and the camera and spitting and, you know, a lot of stuff that you're the mama's boy that gets away with everything, but yet it became more glamorized and sexy like a James Dean. And then they were talking about that too with the whole, some of the, you know, we got, because I'm out here with Crips and Bloods and stuff, where remember Boys in the Hood, the dude had like a little pacifier in his mouth. And then the Wayans brothers made fun of it with the whole braids and barrettes and stuff like that. But at the same time, they were more, you know, more in your face with it.
Okay,
so,
Art, if I could follow you up with all of that, I think those individuals, when they looked at different films and different things of like gangster movies, white gangster movies and stuff, because if you ever remember when Tupac was in Juice, they was looking at Scarface, and they were glamorizing Tony Montana and so forth. A lot of those guys actually, I think, look at those things glamorized on movies and TV, and then they were attracted to the streets because they wanted to be men, and they felt that that was the atmosphere in which they could show the world that they were men, and they overcompensate and try to act out like those figures that they saw in films, as if that defined true masculinity.
Look at Notorious B.I.G., you know, and all of them. They tried to have the whole mafioso type look too.
Correct.
You know, so you had like that contrast between East and West, where, you know, it just becomes more of a conversation.
Correct. On both sides, they model themselves after American gangsters.
I wanna say this. when I break it down, I like to look at things and I sit down and write out papers on these things. On a lot of mama boys who are willing to risk their life to keep up the household. You can talk shit about my daddy for the most part. You might get a reaction. You might get me to come at you. But if you say something about my mama, I gotta slug you. I gotta hit you. You ain't gonna disrespect my mama. And for a lot of boys, a lot of them run into the streets. First off, they see that that mama is fighting to get by. Now, sometimes mama don't have to. Sometimes these women have a good job, but the boy sees a man who is commanding and having that kind of garnish, that kind of level of respect. Because in the streets, you get respect. We gotta understand that in our community, what is widely respected, we don't understand. The affinity that the black man has for the streets, whether he is the educated or the lame, whether he's the educated or he's the lame, as they want to say. The lame is in the streets and fights for respect. The educated was pushed out of the streets, yet he wants that respect that was never spoken of him. And the mother will always be at ground level zero, because at the end of the day, it all comes from, most of these men come from these type of households. This is something that was brought out during the 60s. Now, a lot of these boys say that, listen, so long as I'm taking care of the household, I'm the man of the house. That was my cousin's logic. I'm doing what I got to do, so that way we got food on the table. Y'all get my sister and my cousins, they have new pants and shirts and outfits. We got fresh gear and stuff. Ain't nobody fucking with nobody in my family. But see, sometimes the mother understands that, damn, I gotta turn a blind eye to that shit. I don't want to, or you know what I'm saying, there's nothing I can do with this boy, because the boy, he's been addicted to that type of mentality. And see, the thing about it is, y'all say, well, what do I have to do with a mama's boy? Because the mama can normally say, listen, sometimes I know I have to stop this. I have to put this animal down. And I'm not calling the boy an animal. But in the savage mindset, this is why it's hard to keep civility and savagery apart. But we understand that the mother's like, I cannot bring myself to stop my son, because that would mean I failed as a what? Mother. If I stop him, that means I'm not. So I will condone and kiss him on the cheek, even though I know he's doing wrong. Hell, there was an incident on the news, I remember Thomas Memorial covered, that a blood gang member was holed up in a house with guns and drugs and all kind of crazy shit. And the mama was like, don't shoot my baby, even though he was shooting at everybody else. And she was like, she wasn't trying to talk him to come down. She was more so like, my baby's not doing any wrong. Now, that is the highest tier level of mama boy I ever had saw. But I'm like, here, this man is already shot 2 cops, got multiple felonies, known for robbery, killing, and all different shit. Just you see no wrong that your son is doing. And you see, when you have that is one of the biggest reasons why we have a problem with the
And
mom.
BMT, that phenomena is global.
But yeah, it
it's
is.
not just in the black community, but it's all over. When I went to, because I go to Brazil 4 times a year. I mean, it's probably even worse over there with that kind of a mindset.
Oh man, that place, those favelas are really bad with that shit.
Yeah, the favelas, come on, man. So my whole thing is that a lot of these mothers, they didn't really get enough time to understood what motherhood or femininity was, even before they had the child. So they're going through a lot as well. They're learning a lot of things. And matter of fact, you got to remember that example I talked about, the nurturing. It's hard for a woman to nurture if she's in fighting mode. It's hard for her to care when she's in fighting mode, because basically that characteristic or that function comes when masculine energy is just not around or is too weak. So she has to pick up. We heard this story before, this narrative, but this is the stuff that we have to understand, at least know our part, because we can't that women can't teach men how to be men, but at the same time, men can't teach women how to be women. You know,
You know
the
what?
key.
I want
Oh,
to
go
I
ahead,
want to
bro.
share something with y'all, man. I was looking at this article this week, because I was thinking about what we was going to be talking about. I want to show y'all something. Let me see if I can share my screen without fucking it up. Yeah. There we go. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Can y'all see that?
Harvard
Okay.
studies, mama boys earned 80,000 more and have better careers. What? Really?
Now, this is an old article. This article is about almost 6 years old. And I was reading it today, and it says, do you know someone who is a mama's boy? Perhaps you have one of your very own. While this term may seem derogatory, it may actually mean good things down the road for your child. A new study has shown that men who are considered to have been mama's boys earn more money in the area of 80K per year, which I think is a bunch of bullshit, but it continues. It says the Grant study, which was conducted through Harvard University, looked at personality changes through the years between individuals. What they found was that men whose relationships with their mothers were close performed better at work and school, and also earned more money as a result. They also managed to keep Alzheimer's and dementia in control as the men grew older. There is still research to be done along with this study, but it appears that those who have had close relationships with their mothers at a young age were happier with their lives as well. They could not, however, find any link between a son and a father being as close as the son was with the mother and how they develop as they grow older. One
That's too
great thing of
easy.
no, it's too easy. One great thing about sons having a close relationship with their fathers is that they grow up to be more satisfied with their lives. They also tend to have less anxiety in their lives. Now, this study is not to say that those who are identified as mama boys are necessarily going to make more money or have a more satisfying life overall. The study results are interesting, even if they may not be a definitive result yet, but perhaps someday we will have more knowledge about how the relationship between a mother and her son affects him later in life. Now, I brought that up for a reason, because I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Okay? I think that is pure, unadulterated crap, is what I think. Why? Because we know that most children, okay, children who don't have a man in their life are more likely to find their way into the penitentiary. Young girls are more likely to be molested. They are more likely to be promiscuous. Young boys that don't have a father are more likely to not perform well in school. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on. So that study that they're citing is just absurd, okay? Because we know that a lot of these so-called mama's boys, these are the brothers that are freaking locked up right now. These are the brothers who are in the penitentiary. These are the brothers who are walking the street and shooting folks in the head because they stepped on their sneaker and all this kind of nonsense. So for them to say that a mama's boy is somehow slated for a better life than a not so mama's boy is ridiculous. What do you brothers think?
Man, it's. I mean, the article is really praising the fact that a boy can grow up to be docile and harmless. I mean, and that's the society that our boys have to compete with.
Exactly.
So, I mean, matter of fact, they told on themselves. To be honest, they told us about their agenda. You know, because we already know that if you're a wrist bender or a switcher or whatever you call them, you're more likely to get the job. you're more likely to get promoted. If you're wearing pink and a scarf and all that kind of stuff with a mustache. But if you're
Well,
like, a masculine man with a strong masculine stature, good luck, especially when it comes to the job market.
well, one thing that I'll add on that, Xavier and Art, is I'm looking at it right now. Um, See, this is the type of rhetoric in the media that Obsidian has been highlighting throughout his show. Um, for myself, I know what it is to write a college dissertation and so forth and to create a study. If you look, you'll notice that in the article, there is no link to the study. And if you actually look up the grant study, it's not an actual study that goes to that. It's a program. They didn't even um, give you any information on the exact study that they're talking about. So it leads me to believe that it's false. So look at the title of the website, Healthy Black Woman. See, this is the type of rhetoric that's being put out there that are, are angering a lot of black dudes to say, see, here's another one of those articles that you all are pushing that it's first of all, it's not substantiated by anything. And then all it does is just put black fathers in a bad light.
Well, let me say this. We often hear about state black men. We're probably the most masculine men on this planet. So when they talk about that toxic masculinity shit, they're talking about us. Even though I don't believe there's no such thing as toxic masculinity, but I digress. Do you brothers think that the mama's boy is that the opposite? Is that the direct opposite of the quote unquote toxic masculine man? Is the opposite of that the mama's boy, docile, somewhat quiet, laid back, kind of identifies with female mind frames and female pathologies, if you will. I mean, is that the prototype of man that is acceptable now?
Most
I believe
definitely, bro.
I believe so. I believe so. And I'll take it even further. I think that's why when you do have a lot of male spaces, especially here on YouTube, that you find so many men that will from the black community that will come in and go to bat for women.
I think they are the 2019 versions of the mama's boy. Because, some of these guys are in their 30s, 40s, 50s and shit, and they sit back and they really think they not only do they defend these women, man, they will take the hit for some of these women. Man, I've seen brothers take the hit,
Yeah, man.
on that boy, they'll take the brunt, man. They'll stand in front of a train for some of these hoes.
Yeah, man. You
And
look right here on YouTube. Dudes are getting to wanting to fight you and jump, telling about where to meet you and all this other stuff over someone they don't even know.
Yeah, sometimes some people are so close to their mother, like X was talking about, is that you internalize everything else that is against a woman.
Correct.
So sometimes there's something in you to where, okay, this person is sort of like they're not saying it, but the energy is there. It's like, okay, if I'm protecting this woman, I'm protecting someone that pretty much has the potential to be someone like my mom. And I'm not sure if you can like put in a box or control it, but it does happen. I'm not sure whether or not if we can say if it's right or wrong, But I would just say, you know, on the side of caution, be careful who you protect because you never know, you know, what you're going to get caught in the middle of. But
Art, art, it's a pathology. That's why you hear from the other side different. I hate to use the phrase shaming tactics, but the phrase is like, um, you if you don't act this way, you hate black women, or if you don't do this, why you don't look at things this way? Your mama black. I mean, all of those are pathologies to try to um, push individuals into this feminist type of thinking. And
now, when they come at you like that, how would what would be the proper way to respond?
I know
that
if it was me and someone tells me that my mama black, the first thing I would say is, yeah, I know. That's why I can say the shit that I say about black ass mamas. Um, but this is it though, man. I mean, a lot of these guys, because all of us, we kind of travel in the same kind of circles, here on YouTube and everywhere else. We all see the same stuff, right? We see a lot of brothers running to the defense of women that they don't even know, right? Now, I would venture to say, and I've said it many, many times before, they do this not because they feel like they got to protect these random ass women, man, who are out in the streets or on YouTube, man. Like Brother Supreme just said, their mind dials right back to their old mama. And the reason why their minds, a lot of their minds dial back to their old mama, because a lot of this ratchet bullshit that you see, guess what? These dudes saw their old mamas doing this shit 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So in their mind, you shouldn't be criticizing this woman because, see, when my mama was doing it, I wasn't allowed to criticize her. Other people weren't allowed to criticize her. So that means the shit was somewhat normal. Okay. So you guys talking about the shit that these ratchet hoes are doing in 2019, that shit ain't gonna work. Because, see, my mama did the same stuff, and she was a good mama, and she did the best that she could, even though there were 9 of us and none of us knew our father. She did she did she did the best that she could. So how dare
you
you?
get out of here, X. You get out of
how
here.
how dare you? How dare you say something about our old mama? And how dare you say something about somebody else's old mama? That old mama could have been my mama. See, that's the whole thing behind it, man. And that's what truly makes them freaking mama's boys. Because, see, when you're a freaking mama's boy, right? You automatically want to protect mama. You want to protect mama's image. You want to protect mama's past. You want to protect mama's fallibilities. You want to protect mama's shortcomings. Why do you think these people are always saying, oh, well, mama did the best she could, when they know that's a fucking lie? They
So how
know
do you
that's a lie.
so how do you heal from that though? You know, as you get older, you know, what
By
steps do you think that we need to either share with our boys that's going through this, or
Well, many, many moons ago, my good brother Art, my brother, I did a stream one night and it was called Your Old Mama. Because X is biased against these old mamas, if y'all didn't know that already. And I said that to heal from this shit, the first thing you should do, if your mama is still alive and she treated you like shit and let people molest you and starved you and did all this bullshit, what you need to do is you need to walk into her goddamn house and be like, hey, mom, let me holler at you. And she gonna sit down and talk to you because she think you're gonna talk about some shit with your life or somebody you're dating or some shit like that. You're gonna sit down and you're gonna just come right in with it. You say, hey, look, mom, when I was little, you did this, 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 and that. You did this, 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 and that. You allowed this to happen. Now, mind you, your old mama, she's not going to cop to it immediately, because see, all that bullshit she allowed to happen to you is buried. Okay, she's buried it. So she's going to get indignant with you. And a lot of the shit that you talk about happening to you, she's going to accuse you of lying. Okay, because see, she's buried it so deep that to her it never happened. All right, but you fucking remember it because it happened to you. And you need to confront your mama over this shit. And I also tell people who their moms are not alive, and their moms did a lot of fucked up shit to them when they were little. They need to sit on the edge of their bed, say it to her just like she's standing in front of them, write a letter, sing a song, something. Okay? That is the only way that you can heal from this kind of bullshit. Because unfortunately, we are a people who are mostly raised by our mothers. And unfortunately, a lot of our mothers weren't shit. Now, was it all of us? No, of course not. Anybody who thinks that is crazy. But some of us had mamas who wasn't shit. So when you are a mama's boy, you totally disregard that because you must protect mom's reputation. You must protect mom's pathology. You must protect mom's past. You must protect mom getting exposed for her bullshit. That's why these dudes run to the defense of these hoes.
So X, are you saying that at a young age these boys are actually being trained to be in a different way, kind of clean up men? That mean clean up the reputation of their mama, sweep everything underneath the rug?
Well, brother BMT said something very prolific earlier. Okay, and I meant to speak on it. He was talking about I think he was talking about New Edition and Bobby Brown and all of them. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, brother BMT, but he's talking about New Edition and Bobby Brown and all these guys, and how none of them had fathers, and how their mothers didn't care that much about them until they started making money and started getting famous. Now their mothers were all in the mix. But isn't that kind of how it is in real life? When these women, the dudes who they look at and they say, well, this guy ain't this guy ain't that. He's Sherman Klump, he's not Buddy Love. You know what I'm saying? Those of you who've seen the Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
He's Sherman Klump, he's not Buddy Love. But once Sherman Klump becomes something, once Sherman Klump becomes a college professor, once Sherman Klump owns a house and owns automobiles and has money in the bank, okay, and a 401k, etc., now they want to be bothered with Sherman Klump. Why? Because see, Buddy Love had the swag, he had the charisma, he had that thing. But what Buddy Love didn't have was a fucking future. You know, that thing that comes as long as you keep living? Yeah, that old future. It will come as long as you keep living. And see, the Buddy Loves didn't have those. Most of them, they didn't have a future. See, the Sherman Klumps did. So now these old tired has-been hoes, now that they're 38 and 8 babies in, now they want old Sherman now. And see, I think it's the same way with their sons. They groom these boys to worship them. They don't really give a shit about them because let's be clear, like I said earlier, a lot of us in black society are oops babies and products of our mama's whoredom. You think all these 40-some million black people in this world and none of our mamas was hoes? That's how we act, like none of our mamas was hoes. None of our mamas was on crack. None of our mamas had 9 baby daddies. No, not us. That's impossible throughout 40 million people. But anyway, I digress again. We do not want to think of our mother that way, even when we know it's true. So it's easy for these mothers to groom these children to be this way, to groom these boys to be this way, to groom these boys to think that I am your mama. I am a woman. So whatever I do, it should be given a pass. Because see, I'm your mama. You fell out of my funky hole. So whatever I do, if I say I'm your mama, it clears it. If I put cigarettes out on the back of your neck, I'm your mama. That's all right. If I beat you bloody once a month, I'm your mama. That's all right. If I took off and left you and your brothers and sisters in the house for 5 days with nothing but a loaf of bread and a box of raisins, I'm your mama. It's all right. So if you get that beat into your head enough times over the course of time, like I said earlier, what is your perception of women? You come at women like a fucking mama's boy. Why? Because you've been living with this woman who has trained you to believe that women should be allowed to do anything. Obviously, women should be allowed to uh, uh, treat you any kind of way, say what they want to say to you. They should not have to face the repercussions of any of their bad decisions. I mean, you have been indoctrinated into that because watching your ain't shit mama do all this shit. I knew dudes when I grew up, man. Let me tell you something. When I was growing up, I knew brothers who had mothers, man. Let me tell you something. Their mothers would take off, man, and be gone for days and days and days. And we were like 9. And these dudes, man, would have to come and stay at my house. They'd be at my house when my parents fed them. I gave them clothes and shit like that because their mom would just be gone. Why? Because she was an old ran down alcoholic. Okay, ran down alcoholic hoe who would be gone 2 and 3 and 4 days at a time. Leave these brothers home with nothing in the damn refrigerator. One time, the goddamn woman, the lights was off, and the dudes was in there with no power and all this kind of nonsense. I mean, I've seen these ain't shit holes. Now, is that the majority of women? I certainly hope not. But it's too many of them. Too many, okay? More than it should be. So when you have this kind of thing going on, these are the brothers who run in and try to defend these women. You think anybody who had a decent mother runs in and defends these old ran down hoes?
X, I think you said something pretty profound because I think it kind of channels and links to a lot of the words that I've been hearing on YouTube from certain individuals that they all make the statement, why are you worrying about what these women say? And nobody asked them, or they never fathomed the thought that maybe what these women are saying is wrong. Maybe what these women are saying needs to be challenged. You know how you stated, hey, some of these guys, they need to go to their mom and they need to let them know what they did wrong. I think some of these guys never got to that point of actually telling that some of these things that they experienced and that they thought were normal female behavior is absolutely wrong.
Let me throw something at that. Now let me say something about that. The thing about it is this: for a lot of men, that I watch it on throughout a lot of men that say that they want to oppose the black matriarchy. And I would always ask these black men, what power do you have to challenge the black matriarchy? What honesty do you have? What can you honestly say to them? They ran you out, they won. So that's like the guy who lost the war going back to the rulers and saying, well, y'all need to revere and respect my authority. You're not in my community. You're not in there. So how can you challenge me in what I do? I run majority of everything. About 70, that's like the rebel army telling Emperor Palpatine, listen, nigga, you need to get off that throne and leave. You're like, well, bitch, I got a fucking Death Star. What do you have? You got a bunch of fleet of ships that are measly. And I think that's the reason why a lot of them say, like, why should, now, if it's an individual battle where it's like Prophet said, but I've done that to my mom. I told my mom about her issues. I told her about things like that. You know, I even have a story right now. I was going to pass it off to Prophet before I move. I was going to say about Jacob Copeland. For he joined the Florida Gators. He's a basketball player. His mother walked out on him when he was signing. I'm not sure if you've ever seen that story.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I remember, man.
It was on national news.
She wanted him to go to Alabama, I think, and
Right.
he decided to go to Florida, and she walked out and shit, which was
right there.
like,
Now, mind you, he started crying. And but he one dude put his hand on his shoulder, like, it's okay, boy. It's gonna be all right. You did what you have to do.
she's a shitty mom.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, she is. The whole world watched that.
And you know what it is? It was the defining moment for that boy. You know why? Because that's him breaking away from that mama's boy shit.
Right.
Not doing what she wants him to do, but doing what's best for him. And that's the type of shit that I'm talking about. But continue, brother. Continue.
Now, the thing about it is this. And it does hold stake and ground. You can't shame a woman that doesn't have shame. Like I think Taz and Prophet were talking about this. Like I said, Mama is going to do what Mama wants to do because Mama's been doing what the fuck she wanted to do for years. So she's like, if I ain't fucking you and you ain't paying me no money, and nigga, who's you? The most you can say is, listen, I don't fuck with you like that, or you're not going to run my household, my life anymore. Once you say your piece, if you're not that specific man, and that's the thing about I try to tell to a lot of you men, we can have this talk, but until us men understand, like, listen, either you can tell the brothers just like Morpheus told Neo, like, listen, bro, either you can take these goddamn scissors and cut the umbilical cord of Mama Boy from you, or you can keep on living in that type of truth. Because at the end of the day, either they're gonna learn to be like Jacob and have to learn how to deal with it right there on the spot. Now that was his defining moment. But you know what I'm saying, Coon going up to his mama saying, you wrong. She like, I don't give a fuck what you say. You know what I'm saying? Dwight Howard, his doggone mama, she up there while after he won with Golden State, after he won with Golden State, she all in the goddamn interview talking and shit and acting like she was out there playing on the damn court. I'm like, what kind of shit is this? Where the fuck were you at?
Yep, you never saw Jordan's dad doing junk like that.
See, but the thing about it is this. These women feel an affinity that you owe this to me.
Correct.
That you belong to me. Everything you do is under my guise. And like some people, I tell my mom, like, listen, you can't tell me that my kids got to go to your church. Yeah, listen, I'm their grandmother. Well, I supersede you. I'm their father. I pay the fucking bills, not you. So when I say that, that means you have no rank in my household unless I'm dead or gone and their mother passes away, and you the last one on the list. Then yeah, you will possibly get that say so, but you don't. But see, you gotta understand, for a lot of men, they have to overcome that by themselves. I get you what you're trying to say, Coon, but also I gotta also let a lot of y'all black men say, you cannot after 60 years think that just by you saying, hey, you need to face what the fuckery you did, because they're gonna be like, well, shit. They're gonna ask you again, what do you run to think you can control or tell me what the fuck to do? Because art's a profession. You know what I'm saying? Prophet's a business owner. You're not even in the black community like that. You know what I'm saying? So when they look at you, they're gonna pull up your resume like, if they ain't listening to you, they damn sure ain't gonna listen to Ray Ray and Pookie. Like, nigga, you be at my house every goddamn Sunday eating out my fucking fridge. Stop it. But you still depend on me.
Well, the thing that I say is because you're right. I come from a totally different background.
I feel you, brother. It's all good.
But my thing is changing the conversation.
Right.
It may be a conversation that's minute right now. It may be a conversation that other people will say, oh, you're not doing anything and so forth. But the conversation still needs to be had that, you know what? Nah, I'm a black man. I don't agree with you at all. And I don't think that black women, especially in the media, have ever had any type of offensive against what they're saying to the rest of the world. And now that it's being done, even on a small scale, it's growing. And like I tell you, and the rest of the panel, like just over the past, I don't know, year or so. Like my wife, she isn't black, but she has been able to learn and see different things that she will say, you know what? I never realized that all of this stuff was going on. And I always kind of wondered about different attitudes um that some black women would have, especially when we're out in public or doing things and so forth. So now she's growing to understand why why we get the reaction that we get sometimes, just simply for just being alive and being out.
Mhm.
And when more people get to see this, even from other races and other communities, I think it will be helpful eventually in showing the difference between black men and black women.
Pause. What you just said right there. You just said something that was very profound. You see, when Jacob Copeland's mama did that in front of the world, they called her out and asked her, "What's up with you, bitch? Why'd you just do that to your son?" Now you have to, you see, the black woman does not respect that black boy or black man enough to feel like she's compelled to reply back. You feel me? You get what I'm saying, brother? Now, when your wife, who's outside of the community, but mind you, Serena's husband, that white man, he said, "Oh no, black bitch, you and your mother and your sisters, and y'all ain't gonna raise my daughter. I see the way you fucking act. I see how y'all be acting and carrying on and shit and tearing up rackets and acting all ratchet fuck. You can't raise my daughter. You're gonna have to denounce you being a black woman in national TV, and you're going to that. See that right there. Show that, mind you, he made her renounce being a black woman on TV, and that their daughter has to be raised by his culture, not her.
Right. Because he sees her culture as destructive.
So what happens is this. What's going on right now, Supreme Court, is that the world is starting to see the black woman's toxic behavior.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. So it's out of our hands. If you have to fight that battle, it has to be an individual battle where, Super Coon at an older man's age will have to say, Mama, let's have this talk. Let's go to Chinese buffet and have a talk. Mama, you fucked me up when I was a kid. What? Calm down. Calm down. If you're gonna leave, go get in your car and leave. But I drove here, so you're gonna have to hear this shit. You see what I'm saying? If she don't want to hear it, then that's fine. But you said your piece and leave it at that. But that don't mean you got to keep fucking with her or let her get away. I had to call my mom out a few times. But see, also understand that when other people are telling her, saying, "Yo, what you did is fucked up," that's not cold. You literally took your son's Social Security and used that for your credit to turn on your lights. Or when I say, you know what, this bill right here, if you don't fix this shit, I'm taking it before a judge. And then you're going to pay me back. Now, I tried to tell a young man, he said, "I don't know if I can do that, BMD. Like, that's my mama. Your mama didn't give a fuck about you to take your name and fuck up your credit." Now, when I said that, he took that serious when that white judge slammed that gavel and said, "You're going to pay him back." See what I'm saying? Sometimes tough love, just like they gave you that tough, fucked up love, you got to give it right back.
Well, don't you brothers believe that in black society, women have a vested interest in men being the quote unquote mama's boy, because if they find themselves with one, they still have carte blanche to pretty much do whatever the hell they want, because see, mama's boys have been pruned, groomed, trained, and brainwashed to accept it. So don't don't women have a vested interest in these brothers being mama's boys? That's a benefit to them. That means they don't have to be about a goddamn thing, doesn't it?
Oh, of course it does. And instead of saying, um, trained and all that other stuff, I'll actually say, no, they've had their wings clipped before they learned how to fly. And it's when, just to give a little background, like, yeah, I grew up a little bit differently. I had both parents, and my parents were pretty good. Like, I didn't have a lot of the issues that a lot of people talk about. But when my thing with black women came into action was we traveled a lot, we saw a lot of different things. And you remember, like, right in the late 80s, early 90s, and there was like all this like ultra black movement and all this stuff with Public Enemy and all that type of stuff.
Fight the power.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And you had shows like A Different World on TV and the Cosby's and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, it was
And
the whole black is beautiful.
yeah, yeah. So man, yeah, Living Color and Martin, but so I was thinking like, man, yeah, I've been around different people and so forth, but let me get the sisters a try, whatever. But because I grew up a totally different way, the way that I saw my mom and dad and their parents interact with each other was totally different from how a lot of black women expected men to be in a relationship. And man, it only took being out one time and being yelled at at a public restaurant that I was like, oh nah, man, this is crazy. I don't even see how dudes could ever put up with something like that. That's crazy. That's insane. It's insane. And think that nothing is gonna happen to you and you just yelling at a grown man at a restaurant. That's that type of mentality. Um it just was mind boggling. So I already knew at that point, nah, I can't do that. That ain't gonna roll. Um, to see a community of men to feel that interacting with women that have this quote unquote uncontrollable sass attitude, feel that they can do no wrong, um, believe that their mistakes will have no repercussions and that everybody's just going to be all hands on deck to help them whenever they um, make mistakes. To me, that's insanity. That's crazy. I don't even understand how anybody could ever put up with something like that.
But that is the norm, for us as black folks. Unfortunately, for many of us, I mean, we think that it's normal, man, for women to be this way, and see these women react this way, especially when it comes to men, because see, this is the same way these women act towards their sons, man. They're yelling, they're screaming, they're violent, they're all this kind of bullshit. They're the same way with their sons, man. Do you actually think a woman who will jump up and try to fight you and yell at you and scream at you and spit on you and try to scratch your eyes out, you think when she go home, she's Claire Huxtable with her children?
See,
Yeah,
that's
but yeah, it has a
oh,
lot to
go
do
ahead,
with
Mike.
channeling.
Say
Yeah,
what, brother Art?
I said it has a lot to do with channeling too, because I know we heard of penis envy, and we
Mm,
wish we can do the stuff that the guys can do, and a lot of these girls picked up on that before they had these boys. So
mm-hmm.
it's a mixed bags of things that they had to put their sons through. So when we can't get society off the hook on this process too. I grew up in that time, with Cosby Show, conscious hip hop, um, all those kind of things. But I'm out here in LA. I was living in the South Bay area, but we still had to go to church in Compton. I had to get my hair cut in Compton. I had to get my teeth done in Watts. We had family in South Central. We still had a foot in the community, so you're able to see all the different things. And we even see, like, even though I was in a decent neighborhood, every time I visit my relatives, I'm like, God damn. Let's just go play outside. We try to just find new realities. You're like, okay, and I'm looking like, and I'm just remembering like, this stuff wasn't normal. This wasn't, because matter of fact, I'm talking about times before the Cosby Show. To be honest, that's my mama days and good times and all that kind of stuff. So we had some dysfunctionalities, and God bless him as far as being dealt a hand or what have you. But hell, we talking about this in 2019. Something's got to give. Somebody has to wake up and stop the cycle.
Hey, Art. Um, I spent a lot of time with my grandfather and my dad. I mean, I listened to a lot of stuff that they listened to. I mean, I remember over and over listening to Nat King Cole's "Pick Yourself Up," you know, stuff like that. But I was thinking, both of y'all, do y'all remember this episode on the Jeffersons where this ex girlfriend of George had came and was trying to kill him.
Yeah, she was kind of cute.
Yeah, and she stated, now my life is all messed up and everything because it didn't work out between us. And George tells her, "But you wanted Kenny." And and she was like, "Yeah, but you should have waited for me." And he was like, "Nah, you wanted Kenny. He was fun. He had money and all this other stuff. That's what you wanted at the time." And she said, "Well, why couldn't you wait on me?" And he said, "Because I grew up."
Yeah.
So it's almost like a little microcosm of what we see today, where you have a lot of those women that feel that they can have all the fun they want to, but then later on, they want responsible dudes to pick up the tab. And I think some of that feeds into the children that they have as well, where you have guys that are mama's boys. They do all this stuff to do whatever they want, thinking that they're not going to have any accountability for it. They ultimately get into all sorts of issues, troubles, whether it's with the law, or whether it's with having kids, or just all sorts of stuff. And then they want somebody to come in and just fix it, or put the blame on somebody else, like that lady did. Oh, it's the white man with this and stuff and all this other stuff. And it's like, I know that's a part of it, but you played a major part in that as well.
So what do you think they get this? I mean, what do you think that this? I mean, let's dig a little deeper. Where do you think this stuff is coming from?
I think it comes from a sense of entitlement. I mean, entitlement, having that mind frame of entitlement. I think that can be inherently freaking taught to you too. I mean, when you watch your mama sit around all day with no fucking job, okay, fucking getting men to buy her shit. She's living off the system. I mean, you never see her get her black ass up and go to work. It teaches you that you can have this little bullshit apartment. You can have this little bullshit furniture. You can have a roof over your head and food in your mouth. You don't even have to have a fucking job. I mean, you when you have see, this is the thing with black society, and this is why I think people get so mad when brothers get up here and talk about it. I have a saying, okay, and I say this. I say dysfunction is close to us, and when I say that, what I mean is, if we're not a dysfunctional ass person, we have somebody related to us who is dysfunctional. Our brother, our sister, okay, our sons, our daughters, our mothers, our fathers, our aunts, uncles, and if not them, somebody we know, somebody who lived next door, somebody we grew up with. We're never far from dysfunction as black people. Okay, we always have a few lines tethered to some bullshit dysfunction. So, and a lot of times that dysfunction, that we're tethered to, we have a tendency to not only relate to it. I mean, we'll speak about it as if it's us, even though it's not, because that's how close it is to us and how close it is to our damn psyche. And the reason why you have a group of people who have this kind of entitlement, okay, thinking that other people need to come in and fix their damn life, is because, see, they never, for whatever reason, maybe they weren't taught by their mama, maybe she taught them and they weren't paying attention. They were never taught by anyone else, or when people were trying to teach them, they didn't pay attention. They never had any culpability for their own lives to begin with. So now, of course, even though they were the people who destroyed anything viable, they expect other people to come in and bring viable things into where they destroyed it. Because, see, they never took any freaking agency on their own lives ever. So why would they now? They didn't do it when they were 20. They didn't do it when they were 30. So now that they're 40 and 50, they're not going to do it now. They expect someone else to do it. And it's the same thing with these freaking mama's boys. These mama boys who look at their mama, right? And they watch their mama all these years. Mom never changed. They didn't expect her to, because she taught them that she didn't have to. Even when the shit she was doing was not just detrimental to her, it was detrimental to them. And they never thought that she had to get better. They never thought that she had to improve. They never thought any of that. They don't think that today. Because with all the dicks mama sucked 30 years ago, all the crack mama smoked 30 years ago, all the baby daddies mama had 30 years ago. You look up now, mama 50, she's 60 years old, and she's sitting in church now. Praise the Lord. You know, she married to Jesus now, because, you know, she couldn't find a man to marry her black ass, because no one wanted her for the rest of her life, for the rest of their lives. They wanted mama for the rest of the night. And what I think, and I've said this before too, a lot of us, we live with this resentment inside of us, man, because not only did we not have a father, not only did we not have a man to save us from this crazy ass woman, we resent the fact that nobody wanted our mama. Nobody wanted to marry old mama. Nobody wanted to come in and help her get us the fuck out the ghetto. And we have this resentment in us because we think mama's the greatest. So how come I got all these different looking brothers and sisters? We look like a fucking crayon box, but nobody ever took mama down the aisle. That shit sticks with us, man. It bothers us that nobody wanted our old mama, because we can't figure it out. Why? Because mom is so great. See, it's one of those things, man, when you're walking around with these opposites in your brain. First and foremost, your mama treats you like shit, but she's got you convinced that shit treatment is love, okay? All the beatings, all the leaving you alone, all the boyfriends that she had molesting your sister and all that. See, all that shit was love. See, she's got you convinced that all of that was love. You understand? That was love. Okay, leaving your home 3 and 4 days at a time with nothing to eat. See, she got you convinced that all of that shit was love. Okay, so being that all of that was love, mom really loved you because she really treated you like shit. So she really loved you, right? But at the same time, you have no father. Neither does your brother. Neither does your other sister. Neither does your other sister. So you got this confusion going on in your brain. As great as mom was and as much love as she had, how come none of our damn daddies married her ass? How come no one ever came through and helped her get us out of these damn projects so we could have decent clothes and food and lights and water. So we have that inner resentment. At the same time, on mom's, blame it on mom's drinking. We don't want to blame it on mom's whoring. We don't want to blame it on mom's fucking laziness and inability to take care of us. We don't want to blame it on that. We want to blame it on the rest of the world. We want to say, oh, men ain't shit because they didn't want our old mama. Men ain't shit because they didn't come in and marry our mama, because our mama's the greatest. When we know she used to smoke crack. We know she was a whore. We know she was an alcoholic. We know she didn't have shit going for herself. We knew that. How did we not know it? We lived with her.
Okay, X, when you take all of that, doesn't it make perfect sense? While now you can have on social media women that are actual grandmothers in their late 30s and 40s still doing the same thing that little teenagers do.
I talked about it at the top of the show. Nowadays, you got young men who are Facebook friends with their mama and their grandmama. And boy, their grandmama and mama is doing all kinds of shit. And guess what? Not only are the young men not embarrassed by it, mama and grandma don't expect them to be. After
Correct.
all, I'm mom. I can show my ass, my titties, my pussy, all that shit on goddamn Facebook. And I don't care about embarrassing you. What's
Yeah, because
embarrassing? What's embarrassing about this? This is normal.
you
Art,
gotta.
you said you was a teacher, Art, and a lot of the from what I've seen, a lot of the attitudes, a lot of the language that these young kids learn, especially in these single mother households, they've learned directly from their mothers.
Well,
Do
if
you
you
deal
want
with that in school?
to talk about that in the inner city schools, you're looking at over 60% of the inner city children they have group home situations. So it's neither mother or father. It's the group home parent. And so these kids are learning from other kids with bad situations. So when you look at that, and yeah, even you still gotta remember though what got them into group homes, dysfunctional parents. And then on top of that, you gotta look at these black boys, the way they look at me and other older black men. They look at you with disdain, like you wasn't there to help them. I kind of get that sense, or they look at you like it's in a way to where I know that I must have did something wrong, so I'm just going to put up a front because I'm just not going to deal with it. So you got the ones that we talking about the hyper masculine, right? But you even talking about the whole sissifying, sassy type stuff too. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm in the inner city, man, where back then bravado was like, that was it. But now, man, these guys are wearing polka dot, pink. They got color in their hair, all kinds of things, man. They still doing the skinny jeans sagging. So I'm telling you, man,
Yeah,
as
that's
far
like
as
an oxymoron.
it's crazy, man, and I'm sitting there like it's like the Twilight Zone because I was, man, this is my 24th year. So I've seen all that kind of, the stuff that the stereotypes and whatever, but I've seen it.
Well,
So
we know, brother Art, that when men are feminized, women just run amok because there's nothing there to put them in check. Because see, the men who are feminine and have these effeminate freaking ideas and dress and talk and speech and mannerisms and all this kind of nonsense. I mean, they kind of blend right in with the crazy ratchet hoes. They blend right in there. So women kind of run amok. You
Oh
know,
my goodness, X, man. Just the other day, I was on a panel and it was a dude that he got angry, right? And I could hear him in the background clapping as he's talked, like the women do. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening. This is a grown man who is emulating the attitude and the exact actions
But
of
that's
black
just
women
it.
when they get upset.
That's just it, fellas. A lot of these guys don't know.
Yeah, they don't realize it. They
They
have
don't
they
know.
have no idea how they don't realize that they are emulating these women, man, because the shit's normal. I mean, it's normal. It's like I said earlier, if you got a man in your life and he catch you doing some shit that looks kind of effeminate to him, he's gonna call you on that shit. All right, you his son, he's calling you on the effeminate bullshit. He's not just gonna, because I know I would if my son. I mean, my son's a grown man now, but I mean, if I was to catch him doing some effeminate shit, I'm coming like, yo, man, why the hell are you holding your arms like that? Why the hell you standing like that? Why the fuck you got red hair? You know, you would call them on the carpet to that shit. But if you a woman and you done groomed this young man to be a mama's boy, you don't give a fuck if he wear pink polka dots. You don't give a fuck if he got green hair. You don't give a fuck if he got on these little Peter Pan shoes and these tight fitting pants and shit. You don't care. You don't care. You just don't.
Yeah,
Oh,
man. And think about this. They get very sensitive when you call out their feminism or whatever
oh
you call it.
good.
And I had to, every now and then, because I'm very good with students, male and females. I know how to take them aside and have a little conversation. And it's taken much longer to settle the boys to get them out of this femininity type stuff and come back to manhood. And so, the guy, he just kept being reactive and being defensive about everything I said. And I was like, look, man, the fact that you're reacting without really analyzing, that's feminine. I said the key thing is that you have to be more logic than saying like, okay, Mr. Such and Such, why did you say that I'm feminine? What do when you start really analyzing and peeling the layers, that's masculine. You're exploring. So I was telling him that in order for you to understand any type of masculine behavior, cut down the reaction and get more into the research. It took a while for him to understand it, but I've been poking at him. I said, "Wait a minute, are you reacting?" He said, "No, no, I'm not reacting." Okay, so why do you say that then? So later on, it got more. His voice started getting deeper. All those kind
Mhm.
of things. But my whole thing is that if we need to start taking the time to show these boys, if we if we have access to them, to let them know the difference between acting feminine and acting masculine, because I think that's the part where they like really missing the mark.
Absolutely. I
Man, Art,
totally agree.
that's a powerful thought. That is
Yeah,
a powerful thought, man. 'Cause,
I totally
I've
agree.
been
um,
doing this for
Well,
years.
but
do
see, this is what it is, though, brothers. I mean, being a man isn't easy. It's
A
not
black
easy to
man
be a
too,
man.
huh?
Yeah, it's not easy to be a black man. And
Woo.
see what I think it is it's somewhat easy to be a black woman. Yeah, it's kind of easy. You don't have to do much. To be accepted and have people make excuses for you. You can fuck your life over and people are still coming cape for your black ass. So it's pretty easy being a black woman, despite of what these fucking women are always saying. They've got it pretty fucking easy. All right. It's not as easy to be a black man. And I think a lot of these young boys, especially those who have been groomed and trained as these fucking mama's boys, they say, hey, look, I might as well go ahead and be a little feminine because it seems like feminine black people got it easier.
Yeah, because some people do it subconsciously. They don't know they're doing it, but some people, dang, the whole, like I said, I call them wrist benders and twitchers. But I'm like, just make a fist, bro. Slap some trees, do some push-ups, something, man. And I'm tired of them little soft handshakes, a little you squeezing butter. I'm like, I'm critical on that. They hate when I come around like that, but I'm like, man,
Motherfucker hands smell like strawberry lotion and shit.
thank you, man. I'm like, whoa. I'm
You
like, here,
shake his
I'm
hand, and when you pull your hand back, your shit smell like strawberry lotion. Like,
yeah,
what the
man,
man.
fuck?
That's a violation.
I was at a store. That had to be about 3 weeks ago, and I was just thrown off because I saw this boy, and he was wearing lip gloss, and I was just like, my goodness, has it gotten that bad where he couldn't have been over
That
15
is,
years old?
man, it's that bad, man. It's that bad. But
Yeah.
we about to close this out, man. Any final words before we peel out of here, brothers?
Yeah, I've been saying this on every panel, but say no to drugs, stay in school, and don't be starting forest fires. No,
And this has
but
been a public service announcement from Brother Arden Style.
but the key thing is, as long as you're a man and comfortable in your masculinity, spread the word, spread the message so other brothers can be on the same page with that. Don't just sit on your manhood and let somebody else be feminine. Give a helping man or more than a helping hand, because a lot of these guys just don't, they got to be cleansed, or you got to have some damn near, what do you call it, effeminate exorcist around.
Yeah.
Get that stuff out of these brothers, because man, I mean, in a way, I think we don't really have enough protection with that whole archetype and that behavior. So that's what I'll add to that. But thank you for having me on the show, brother, once again, and considering me. It's been a great honor, and King Coon, Taz, BFT, everybody. It's been good.
Yeah, I want y'all to come through tomorrow, man. Tomorrow I'm gonna have Dr. Umar on, man. I want people coming on here, find some questions at him and shit.
I hung out with Umar out here. I picked him up from San Diego, so he'll trip out if he know I'm on the panel.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Well, he'll be here tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, on the T.P.O.T. YouTube page.
I'll be looking out.
know. Brother Supreme, any
Ah,
final words?
Nothing much here, man. You close out. It's getting late here, and I need to go kiss the boys goodnight and get in bed with my wife, man.
Okay. You coming through tomorrow, man?
Oh yeah, I'll be through tomorrow.
Yeah, I need some of the good brothers here, man. Shoot some questions at the doc, man. Well, I know the doc. I've known the doc for, I think, about 5 years. Yeah, about 5, 6 years I've known the doc. We talk quite often. So, I'm going to fuck with him a little bit too. So, I don't want to be the only one fucking with him and shit. He's used to that. So, you brothers come through, man. Can fire some questions at the doc, see what he got going on, all right?
Yeah,
All right,
not a
man.
problem. Not a problem.
Well, I'm just going to say this to you goddamn mama's boys with your pink hair and your tight fucking pants and your Peter Pan shoes with the fucking shiny buckles on them. Let me tell you something. I know it's hard being a black man. We spoke about this a few minutes ago. Yeah, it's hard. Okay? It's hard to be a black man at times. I understand. I've been one for a long time, and I've raised a couple too. Okay? And I'm raising some more in the form of my grandson. So I know it's not easy. I get it. But what you got to understand is this, man. Anything worthwhile is never going to be too easy. It's easy to be a fucking mama's boy. You don't have to challenge anything. You don't have to question anything. You don't have to question her black ass. So guess what? You don't have to challenge or question those women that you fuck around with who are just like her. It's easy for you. That's why you continue to do it. Now, like I said last week, I don't blame you if you're a mama's boy. Because, see, you were groomed to be that. She groomed your ass that way. She made it that way. She wanted her little marionette doing her bidding. But Brother BMT spoke of Brother Copeland tonight and how he had that defining moment in front of millions of people on television. Because the way that woman was, you could tell she had groomed him to be a mama's boy. She wanted that boy to go to the school that she wanted him to go to. And you know what the hell that boy did? He became a man that day. Because he said, fuck no, mama. I ain't going there. I'm going here. And that's what I advise to you mama boys. Because trust me, as your mama shaping you to be a mama's boy, she's not shaping you to be a mama's boy for your benefit, man. She's doing it for hers. She's doing it yours. Because see, as long as she has you under her mama boy spell, she would never have to be accountable for anything. The shit she did to you in the past, the shit she does to you now, or the bullshit she pulls in the future. I suggest you break away from it. It's in your best interest. Trust me. I know that's your mama. I know she loves you. I know you love her. But once you get to be a certain age, it's time to cut the umbilical cord. Don't be walking around with this damn umbilical cord connected to you and your mama when you 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 30. Cut the umbilical cord, man. It's time for you to live and think and exist on your own. Quit listening to mama. She don't know shit. Especially not for a man. Shit, you should feel lucky. You survived to 18, 19, 20. Luckily, she didn't kill your ass or give you away or let somebody hurt you, harm you, kidnap you, or shit, sell you for crack. Love your mama, but love yourself enough to know that there is no glory in being a mama's boy. I'm just saying. But anyway, thank you everybody for coming through tonight. Thank you everybody in the chat, moderators, always doing what they got to do. Ultimately, I want to thank you for showing up tonight, spending some time with us, watching us. What I want you to do now that this has come to a conclusion, I want you to get on down to Profit of Thought series on Facebook. That's Profit of Thought, one word, series, another word on Facebook. Get on down there. That's our main page. It's a community page. Go ahead, like the page, share the page, follow the page. You can always find out what we got going on here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. You can also catch up with old X there as well. Go ahead, leave me a message. I'm guaranteed to get back to you within 24 and 168 hours. Also, go ahead, while you're there on Facebook, go ahead and check out the Profit of Thought Series fan group page. That's right, the Profit of Thought Series fan group page. Go ahead, request to be a member. You'll get in there quick. There's a whole bunch of people there. I think we're creeping up on 3,000. I've been trying to get it to 3,000. Seems like for 3 years. Just can't seem to get there. So go ahead and request to be a member. If you have a problem getting in, just drop me a line. You know, it happens sometimes. You know, my admins, I don't know what the hell they be doing, because I say this all the time. Sometimes my shit gets blocked when I try to put shit on there. My shit be held for review. So if you can't get in there, just drop me a line. I'll talk to them. I'll get you in there. Also, check us out on WhatsApp and Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. You're guaranteed to get a follow back. And also, we're going to talk this Twitter thing tonight. You folks need to get your black behinds down there on Twitter. The Twitter handle is at T.P.O.T Media. That's at T.P.O.T Media. With all the people I got following me on the Facebook page. Thousands, a couple thousand people in the Facebook fan group. All the people I got following me on this freaking YouTube crap. How the hell I only got like 70 followers on Twitter. I think I got more followers on damn Instagram than I got on Twitter. So get your black behinds down there and follow us on Twitter, because if you don't, I will haunt you in your dreams until 2020. But anyway, make sure you have your black behinds here tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, because Dr. Umar Johnson will be in the house tomorrow, right here, live and direct. He'll be taking questions. We're gonna have a call-in show. The phone line is gonna be up. It's going down tomorrow. So come on through if you want to check out Dr. Umar right here on the T.P.O.T. YouTube page. Once again, I want to thank all of y'all for coming out tonight. As usual, y'all always come out and support me. And also, I want to thank my most distinguished guests, Brother Taz, Brother BMT, Brother Supreme, and my brother Art, for coming through and spending some time on the page. So, with that, I will leave you with 3 words, like I always do.
Open your mind. Open your mind.
Peace, folks.
The prophet of thought. Open your mind. Open your mind. Open your mind. The prophet of thought. Open your mind. 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 The prophet of thought. Open your mind. 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 Open your mind.
Only from T.P.O.T. Open your minds.